As we take a look at those Huskers lineup, it's brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. And one player really expected to take a leap after a good freshman season, Dylan Carey. He bats in the 3-hole. And you talk about that middle infield, Carey's the one who slides right into the shortstop position.
Yeah, big shoes to fill, but Carey has the potential to be a breakout player in the Big Ten. Big things ahead for him, but Will Bolt looking for him to really catalyze that middle of that lineup.
As the Nebraska Cornhuskers off a 33-win season a year ago, but we're just 2-8 against teams in the top 50 of the RPI. Huskers ended up at number 100 in the overall RPI. They face today the Baylor Bears Friday night starter in Mason Marriott. And if Baylor is going to make a leap this year, Pat, they'll have to be more competitive both in defense and on the mound. The worst ERA, I should say, in the Big 12 a season ago. Marriott, though, all signs are positive for the Tomball, Texas native coming back and having an improvement on his junior season. Yeah,
there's no doubt, Ben, that the Bears really need better starting pitching this year. That was a big deficit in last year's squad. No starter won over 3 games the whole season. But Marriott has the stuff to do it. It's all just for him putting it together. He's had an up and down season last year, but has great stuff. Mid-90s fastball, 4-pitch mix. Needs to get off to a good start for the Bears.
And this is actually his second start at Globe Life Field. Baylor, their first appearance in the tournament preseason format here at Globe Life, but they did play a single game as part of a road series at TCU last year, and that was arguably one of Marriott's best outings all season. He went 4 2/3, gave up just 3 hits against the TCU team that we saw here to kick off the season last year, Pat, and they ended up in Omaha.
That's right, and it was a great start for Marriott. He's comfortable in this ballpark, so you expect good things from him. But he'll feature that 2-seam fastball, has a good arm side run to it, a curveball, slider, changeup. Curveball has improved from last season, but more than anything, he just has to put it together. The numbers don't match the quality of his stuff, and so Marriott's looking for a good start. Really help propel this Baylor defense and get him back in the dugout.
And his batter he made today, Harrison Cayley, transfer in from Abilene Christian in a bit of a surprise. A lot of people were expecting Cortland Castle, an honorable mention all Big 12 catcher, to be that starter, but instead it is Cayley who gets the nod behind the dish for Baylor. As we're just about ready to go, each team 0-3 all-time at Globe Life, so your favorite saying, Pat. Something's got to give. Somebody's getting off the schneid today. Let's go.
That's right. Well, I am a former Baylor Bear, but I've got some Nebraska connections now. My daughter-in-law, the former Miss Nebraska, became the first Miss USA. She's from Omaha, and I've got to be respectful to my Husker family up there.
Let's go. I love it. And we're underway. 2024 season. It starts here on Flow Sports with a ball outside for Marriott to Caden Brumbaugh, who starts things off for the Huskers. Takes that pitch right on the outside edge for a strike. How excited must Brumbaugh be to finally be making his Nebraska debut as an Oklahoma State transfer who got hurt in the preseason last year, did not get a chance to make his debut, had to take a medical redshirt, and the moment he's been waiting for. So he takes a ball just outside and works a 2-1 count to Marriott.
Yeah, Ben, these players work so hard in the offseason to get ready for the spring, and of course you miss a year, it's like a year and a half, and that's what Brumbaugh is facing. Just kind of get back into the swing of things, facing that game type speed. Of course, they do a lot of inter squads to get ready, but you know, when the bell rings, you get between those white lines, it's a little bit different.
Fouls off a 2-2. Those stats we showed you a moment ago, those were his numbers at Oklahoma State as a freshman, where he played sparingly, only 22 ABs. The Edmond, Oklahoma native transfers to Lincoln, where Will Bolton, his 5th year, has done such a good job. Team making the 2021 NCAA tournament, and it's a swing and a miss to start things off. Marriott pumps that fastball, pretty much all fastballs on that opening sequence, Pat, gets it right by Brumbaugh.
Well, you see Marriott working up in the zone to retire Brumbaugh. Chases that high fastball, but it's a good sign for Marriott. You know, being able to control and command the fastball early, that's a key for him.
Marriott a season ago punched out 50 in a team high 58 2/3 innings, but also walked 40 in that span. As he fires in a first pitch strike to Josh Overbeek, and it all starts with the command, but you talk to the coaching staff and they say he's calmer, he's more confident on the mound, and that really goes a long way.
Yeah, the mentality changed, and that's what we heard from the Baylor coaching staff, that he made some big steps in confidence. here in the fall coming into the spring.
This ball hit to left center, but it's Wesley Jordan ranging to his left over to make the play, and a good start for Marriott. 2 up, 2 down as Overbeek flies it the other way. And now that aforementioned Dylan Carey comes to the plate. Great matchup to watch early. As we take a look at the Baylor defense, the Bears really struggled in the field last year. .963 fielding percentage, dead last in the Big 12, but they love the additions they made, especially in the outfield, where it's 3 newcomers, Jordan Johnson and Enzo Apodaca. We'll talk about him a lot throughout the weekend, the Gonzaga transfer. Yeah, the first pitch strike comes in here to Carey.
As you mentioned, Ben, the entire Baylor outfield turned over, and Mitch Thompson and the Bears love what they have, a much more athletic outfield. Ty Johnson in center covers a lot of ground.
Tyreek Kemp, the other newcomer in the middle infield. Check swing is fouled back, and it's an 0-2 count. How impressive has this start been, though, for Mason Marriott?
Yeah, and going right after these Husker hitters. Good sign for Marriott. He has a good feel for that fastball today, and that's what he has attacked.
Marriott in his 16th career start looks in at Carey on the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Baylor looking for a resurgent 2024 after just 20 wins a season ago. Mason Marriott can be a big piece of that as he gets a 1-2-3 inning with a couple of punch outs, and we're underway from Globe Life Field. Bears coming to the plate for the first time when we come back.
Watch me. Watch me grapple, move, and pin. When I hit the mat, don't underestimate the grin. I've got state championships and medals to show, but it's about more than just winning. This you should know. Overcoming odds through therapy and care. The road was long, now opponents beware. Watch me. Game-changing sports medicine at Shriners Children's. The most amazing care anywhere.
Protecting what matters most is the mission that matters most. At Lockheed Martin, we know today's threats come from behind, above, and below, and we make sure those who serve stay ahead of them by connecting platforms necessary to dominate every domain across air, land, sea, space, and cyber, using technologies that protect in the same moment they detect. The mission is a safer, more secure world. Our promise is to help make it happen.
Globe Life Field is your home for college baseball with 3 full weekends of action starting February 16th at the home of the Texas Rangers. It all starts with the Shriners Children's College Showdown presented by Kubota, featuring Baylor, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, Oregon, Tennessee, and Nebraska. Next is the Kubota College Baseball Series with Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Michigan, and Oregon State in Weekend 2, and TCU, Texas A&M, Arizona State, and USC for Weekend 3. To get tickets and learn more, visit globelifefield.com/collegebaseball.
Baylor's Mason Marriott starts us off with a 1-2-3 top of the first. Has to make his head coach Mitch Thompson a happy man. Pat, he called last year the toughest of his career as Baylor won just 20 games, part of this rebuild, and the former Baylor assistant who won a JUCO national title at McLennan here in Texas is back for year 2 at the helm.
Yeah, great coach, great recruiter. Of course, was an assistant coach at Baylor for 12 seasons, and that's back in the Baylor heyday. They had built some tremendous teams, regular at 10D to regionals, but he's hoping to get the Bears back this year.
And with his lineup brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. Whole lot of newcomers will be a focal point, starting with Enzo Apodaca, who is part of a regional team for Gonzaga, a freshman All-American 2 years ago. We're about to see him in a moment against Brett Sears, who gets the nod for Nebraska. A guy who had his ups and downs last year, first season with the Huskers out of Iowa Western Community College after a great JUCO career. Well, there's a fastball in there for a strike. We're at 1-1 here, Pat, on Apodaca.
Yeah, Huskers lost their 2 big horses in the mound, and Emmett Olson and Jake Kaminsky, and so it's big shoes to fill again on the mound. You talked about Dylan Carey at shortstop, but certainly Brett Sears on the rubber. You know, had a bit of an up-down season out of the bullpen last season, but it's really come on strong, put together a great summer in the Northwoods League, carried that into the fall, and earned the trust of Will Bolt and his staff to get the opening day start here for Nebraska.
The 2-2 to Apodaca. We get our first full counts of this 2024 season. And Sears started his career at Western Illinois in the Summit League and was a starter in that COVID-shortened season. Punch out right here. It's a called strike 3 on the inside corner as Apodaca goes down looking.
Yeah, you had to expect a strike if you're Apodaca. That's a 23-4 K to walk ratio in 17 innings last spring. You know, Sears is a tremendous strike thrower, so doesn't walk many hitters, and certainly comes through in that 3-2 count to retire Apodaca.
And another first pitch strike. It's yet another newcomer, Ty Johnson, one of several JUCO transfers who digs in from McClellan. And what an advantage that is as he takes a called strike here for Mitch Thompson to know all these JUCO guys so well, having been there for a decade.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a couple of players there that he is very familiar with and had great careers at McLennan. And took Mitch Thompson a year to get him over. But 2 players he's looking at big things. And this one, Ty Johnson the first.
Oh, wow. And we get our first pitch clock violation of the season as we were down to 8 on the pitch clock and Johnson was not ready to go. He was, I wonder if he was asking for time, and our home plate umpire Chris Koski didn't see it or grant it, but either way it was too late and a tough way to start your Division I career as it's a punch out on the automatic called strike. You can see Johnson there trying to explain to his coach Mitch Thompson what he saw and what was going on.
Yeah, it looked like he was appealing to Thompson. I called for time, just didn't get it.
If you're Sears, as he misses outside on 0-1, you'll take it. That's about as easy of a K as you'll get. And Hunter Simmons, the DH, steps in. Here's another look at what happened on that pitch clock violation.
Yeah, you see Johnson stepping out. Doesn't look like he asked for time unless it was verbal. And Koski was telling him to get back in and then rings him up.
Chopper to the left side. It's fielded cleanly by Carey. His throw just in time as Stone barely keeps his foot on the bag. Nice stretch by the first baseman, Tyler Stone, as it's a 1-2-3 inning. And we'll see if Mitch Thompson wants another look, as that happened right in front of his dugout. He didn't think Stone kept the foot on the bag. And Simmons for now is staying at first base.
Yeah, no doubt. Zach Dillon, the first base coach for the Bears, immediately said, hey, check this one out. Does not feel like Tyler Stone got his foot back on the bag. Certainly was trying to reach for it. Tough angle that we have in the box. But was rung up nonetheless. Looks like Thompson will ask for the review here.
Oh, we're making you start early, Pat. Inning number 1, 2024. You've got to make the call. It looked on that first replay like his foot clearly came off the bag a couple inches. It's a matter of, did he get it back on as Simmons was coming down the line?
Yeah, the first base camera ought to be the one that gives us the best angle. You can see Stone lifting that heel off the bag. Now, did he get back in time? Looks like he was stretching to get back there. Really couldn't tell from that angle. Zach Dillon, the first base coach, immediately signaled to the dugout that he didn't. But of course, in replay, you're going to have evidence that would suggest something different from the call.
John Brammer, our first base official, making that call. He's joined by Mark Winters, Matt McKendry, and the aforementioned Chris Koski calling the balls and strikes today. And a good look down at Mitch Thompson in the Baylor dugout. Goodland, Kansas native. Here's another look.
Yeah, you see Stone's heel trying to get back to the bag. The question was, did his toe reach back and extend and make contact before Simmons crossed? The umpires have about 2 or 3 different angles to look at. Clearly off the bag there, but did the toe reach back and touch before Simmons crossed?
Everything I've seen, I don't know how you don't overturn this. It's clearly seemed like his foot didn't get back in time. And yeah, that'll be the big question too, just in general for Nebraska. You talked about that middle infield, and Dylan Carey was a great high school shortstop. He was a #1 overall recruit in the state of Colorado, but played 3rd last year as a true freshman for the Huskers. Now they move him over to short, and his first throw on what should have been a pretty routine play, anything but.
Yeah, good stretch there by Stone to make the catch.
And as always with these reviews, you go back to the, all right, is there clear, obvious evidence? That's really the only thing. If they let this stand, you could understand it just because it might not be totally obvious, and we are getting the officials back out. They will say it stands. And a big, big sigh of relief for Dylan Carey, who avoids taking the error on his first throw of the season from shortstop. So it does go down as a 1-2-3, bottom of the first. Simmons the ground out to short. And we are knotted up at zeros after one. Heart of the Nebraska order when we come back to Globe Life in Arlington. A chopper to the left side as we start the top of the second. High throw, but snagged by Will Pendergrass as Josh Caron grounds out to short on the opening pitch of inning number 2. So a couple of guys who have, in the Baylor case, Tyreek Kemp coming into the program, Pat, new shortstop, while for Nebraska, Dylan Carey moving over from third to short this season, and a couple of nervy throws to start off. But hey, that's opening day for you in a nutshell, and I think we might get another challenge here.
Yeah. A little bit of nervousness on the infield last couple of plays, and again, another review, it seems. The Huskers are going to appeal that. Did Will Pendergrass get his foot back on the bag? We just saw Tyler Stone accomplish that feat for the Huskers in the bottom of the first, and now Will Bolt will return the favor to Mitch Thompson and say, hey, I want to take a look at that. See if your guy was able to get his foot back on the bag.
Just making sure everybody's up to speed, you know, the replay operations. We don't want to waste any time. We're 18 minutes into the season, Pat, and we're already into review number 2. Also, we had a little bit of an audible here on the umpires, and we do have the correct crew for you now. It's A.J. Wendell calling balls and strikes today. Mike Morris, who's had a couple of those bang-bang calls to make over at first today, with Doug Williams at second, Jet Minton at third.
Yeah, you like when they give us a scorecard, it has one umpiring crew, then we look on the board and they said, oh, they pulled the switcheroo on us, so
all good.
The right guys.
All good. Opening it
in blue.
You know, we got the look at Mason Marriott a second ago. You were a big league pitcher, Pat. I mean, is there a worse feeling than you're rolling, you're in rhythm? Oh, routine chopper, first pitch to the left side, and all of a sudden it's, close play, and now you got to, I mean, we didn't have review back when you were playing, but still, now you got to sweat this out, and you have to stand behind the mound for a couple minutes, and just doesn't feel like it would be optimal if you're a pitcher getting into rhythm.
Yeah, that's the worst part of review, is the delay for both the pitcher and the fielders. Yeah, but Marriott going to take some extra throws here as we take another look at the replay, with Pendergrass making the stab on the high throw from Tyreek Kemp. Josh Caron busted it down first base. And that's why you tell your players, run through the bag, make sure you hustle all the way through. You just never know when a play like this will occur. A good look at Will Bolt. Well, what a job he has done with this Husker program. Of course, his alma mater. Incredible player that was the captain of those 2 World Series teams back in the early 2000s for Nebraska.
And just like our last replay review in the past half inning, clearly the foot off the bag. The question is, did it come down in time? And I was wrong in my first guess of the season, Pat. I thought they had overturned the previous one. I kind of feel the same way about this one, don't you think?
Yeah, it's again, you said bang bang plays, and even with replays, sometimes it's really hard to pick up. You know, with these high def cameras, you get different angles, but you're talking a matter of ½ inch to an inch. And oftentimes we say with these replays, if there's not enough evidence to overturn it, the umpires are going to stick with that original call. Well, Will Bolt, no stranger to this Shriners Classic. Of course, as assistant coach at Texas A&M, he was coaching with one of his current assistants, Rob Childress. A&M a regular attendee to the Shriners Classics back when it was in Houston. Will Bolt and the Huskers looking to get off to a good start of the season. And again,
I'm wrong. 0 for 2.
There you go.
You know, just give me one more, Pat. I got to bat 300 to make the replay prognosticators broadcasting Hall of Fame here. So just give me one more shot.
Man, what I can say is that you were the brave one in the booth so far, because last year I think I was about 13-1.
Yeah.
But man, those were so close, and I thought that call would go to Karen. I thought his foot got to the bag before Pendergrass's toe came back down.
I'm sure both coaches feel a little bit hard done by that they do not win their opening challenges of the season, but it results in a first pitch ground out to short, and now Tyler Stone digs in for Nebraska. Well, so many similarities for these two programs. A lot of history with some tremendous success back in the early 2000s. Each last reached Omaha in 2005. Stone fouls it off, making his debut with the Huskers after a huge season at Iowa Western Community College last year when he hit 17 homers.
Well, you said it, Ben. Both of these programs with great baseball histories. In Nebraska, a really good record last year, 33-23-1, 15-9 in Big Ten play. But Will Bolt told us midweek in our conference that, you know, it was those midweek games that really bit them. They just got to be better against a midweek competition. He felt like that was the sole reason for them being left out of a regional last year.
The 3-1 is high, and we wondered how that long wait on the mound, Pat, with the lengthy review for Mason Marriott would affect his rhythm. And after a great showing of command in the first inning, he delivers a 5-pitch walk to Stone.
Yeah, it can certainly happen, but give Stone some credit there for laying off those high fastball deliveries. So far, that a bit of effective delivery from Marriott, and Nebraska not able to hold up, but Stone does there, earns the walk.
As Gabe Swanson steps in, pitch just catches the outside corner. The second team all Big Ten slugger. It's a nice option to have in your 6-hole. Guy who slugged 18 homers, 57 RBI, both third on the team last year. And a big wave and a miss as the count goes to 0-2.
Yeah, a ton of potential for Gabe Swanson, and hopefully we'll get him off to a good start. As you mentioned earlier, Ben, Nebraska really trying to replace a couple of big holes in the lineup.
The 0-2, swing and a miss. That fastball with a ton of life early for Mason Marriott as he has his third punch out already.
Yeah, he turned that two-seamer over, and that second pitch ran inside on Swanson, tied him up. Comes back with that high fastball delivery out over the middle of the plate. That has been a pitch that the Huskers have not been as disciplined towards. Heard Mason Marriott his third strikeout already in the second inning.
It's up to Case Sanderson making his debut from Nevada, Missouri. He was so good in fall. Coaches say he doesn't look like a freshman whatsoever, and they really wanted more lefty balance. They were so right-hand heavy last year, this Nebraska team. And that's been the big key word, is balance on this year's lineup. As a fastball's in there called strike, and the count's even 1-1.
Yeah, they've accomplished the balance piece, adding some left-handed hitters with some pop. They've also added a ton of speed. This is a different Nebraska lineup than what you may see in the past. Heard comparisons maybe back to 2021. Guys that can really cover the field, but can really use that speed to their advantage. More gap-to-gap type hitters in this lineup this year.
As the two-seamer just misses outside, 2-1 to Sanderson, rated as a top 15 freshman in the Big Ten by D1 Baseball as we kickstart the season. Back to the breaking ball. It's down and in a 3-1 count. It was a slider in the past from Marriott. Now he's transitioned that into a curveball. I know that's one of those things you're really watching to see where the command is at early.
Yeah, that's going to be a key for him, these secondary pitches and having control. We'll still use the slider occasionally, but yeah, you're right. He's leaning more on that curveball, and good discipline so far by Sanderson to lay off of a couple of good ones down and in.
A weird inning so far for Marriott. Got the first pitch ground out, but it had to be reviewed. Then a walk, followed by a K. The 3-1. Just catching the inside corner. That two-seamer. It has a healthy amount of run to it and able to get the front door.
Came right after Sanderson there with the fastball. Down in the count. You saw Cayley setting up outside. That ball rode up and in. But catches the strike call. Now Stone will be off and running on this 3-2 count.
Inside, ball 4, and the inning stays alive on a pair of walks. First to Stone, now to Sanderson, and the only hitter returning from last year to bat over 300 is in the 8-hole. Cole Evans, a really nice piece to have that far down in your lineup, and he comes up in a big opportunity here with 2 ducks on the pond.
And you see Darren Thomas, assistant coach for Mitch Thompson, looking down at some notes there in the Baylor dugout. But this is a situation that Marriott had trouble avoiding last season. These big up and down innings where at times he would give up some crooked numbers on the scoreboard.
It's amazing to look at the game logs too for Marriott, because in Big 12 play he had a stretch where he only gave up 5 earned in 20 1/3 innings in 4 starts, but he had another 4-start stretch where he gave up 28 earned in 14 innings. So it was really feast or famine. As he gets a wave and a miss way out in front on that curve, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, good breaking ball there from Marriott. All started middle away and finished off the plate. Gets Evans chasing. Evans, a great contact hitter. Hit 305 last season for the Huskers.
Pounds this 0-2 to center, but just caught it off the end of the bat as Johnson retreats after taking a couple steps in. And Marriott works around a couple of walks. 0-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. Heart of the Baylor order due up next. Well, not a surprise to see so many Nebraska fans making the trip down south from Lincoln, where they were pounded with about 15 inches of snow back in January, but it's actually been pretty good, Pat. Team got outside each of the last 2 weeks or so with pretty nice, favorable temps in Lincoln, and now here we go, back indoors to start the season in Arlington. As Hunter Toplansky swings through a 1-0 changeup for a strike.
That's the one thing we can guarantee this weekend. There will be no games canceled due to weather here in Arlington.
No doubt. As Hunter Toplansky gets a piece, and it's 1-2. I just remember my first year doing this tournament, rolling in, like, oh yeah, we're indoors, we're good. And it was like 20 degrees at
it was chilly in here,
8 a.m. as we got ready for our first game. I did not have a jacket, but we've learned our lesson. No more rookie mistakes.
Yeah, we're just glad that couldn't hear our teeth chattering in the box.
Yes, exactly.
Didn't have the heat turned on in here. It was quite nippy.
We're still looking for our first hit of 2024. Only a couple of Nebraska walks, the only base runners. As the 2-2 is swung on and missed, pulling the string by Brett Sears. And that 4-pitch mix, when he's got the command, it's really hard to get him figured out as an opposing hitter.
Well, that's the thing that Brett Sears brings to the mound is just a great command of all those pitches. As a hitter, you really can't sit on any one. Just got to look for maybe something in the middle of the plate that he makes a mistake with. But so far, Bears having a tough time picking up those pitches off the hand of Sears.
Wesley Jordan immediately slices one foul. And Sears really working fast, too. It's one of those things, as much as the pitch clock is a big talking point in college baseball, it doesn't matter to guys like Sears. Gets rid of that one with 12 still on the clock and works ahead in the count, 1-2.
Yeah, that's what this pitch clock has taken away for hitters. You know, you try to disrupt a pitcher's rhythm. Well, you no longer have that luxury.
Man, is he dealing or what? Fastball right past Jordan. The power slugging JUCO transfer goes down in his first Baylor AB.
Yeah, that's a case where it looked like Wesley Jordan was trying to sit back, wait as long as he could on some type of off-speed pitch. And that low 90s delivery from Sears just blows it right by Jordan.
5 batters faced, 4 strikeouts for the talented reliever Brett Sears, who last year .529 ERA and 11 appearances, all out of the pen. And gets that 1-0 strike to drop on the inside corner. Command wasn't the issue. 4 walks to 23 strikeouts, but got tagged, left too many pitches out over the plate. And a hot shot sneaks past the shortstop Carey as Mason Greer stings one on a fastball left out over the plate, and Baylor has its first base runner of the season.
Yeah, good contact from Rusty Greer's son, Mason. Put a ball in play here for the Bears, and Dylan Carey not able to handle it. A couple of shaky plays from him at short, of course, making the move from third base from last season. The ball was stung pretty hard, kind of crawled up the arm of Carey, and looks like it'll be ruled an E6.
Yeah, tough start for Carey, moving over from third to short, and it allows Will Pendergrass to keep the inning going.
And really the first hard hit ball that Sears has given up.
Another one tagged, this time over the head of Carey and down into left field. So with that inning continuing error, it's bottom of the order for Baylor with so much to prove. We were told by head coach Mitch Thompson, so much is fluid. There's so many new guys, and they're going to find out right away if they've got the goods to compete in the Big 12 because of how hard they scheduled this year. But right away, here you go, bottom of the order with a chance to showcase what they've got.
Yeah, big hit for Will Pendergrass, and had a great start to his season last year, and then unfortunately suffered an injury going for a ball that was thrown high and off the bag, and base runner ran into his arm and caused a major injury. So great to see Pendergrass back in and collects the first hit of his season.
It's Greer at second, Pendergrass at first, and the Division I debut for Tyreek Kemp. Wave and a miss, and is down 0-2 in the count. A really unique story, a guy who's from Amsterdam in the Netherlands, played on the youth national teams for the Netherlands before coming to the States, playing JUCO ball. Now here he is making his D1 debut, and he does make sure to request for time ahead of the 0-2 pitch.
Sears was about in his windup when he stepped back in the box. Kemp asked for it, was granted time by A.J. Wendell.
They call Kemp dynamite in a small package. They love to see what he will bring this year. As he takes a fastball up and outside. He's an outstanding defender, but it's the hitting that still has some work to do, and that's why he'll start this season more at the bottom of the order.
Yeah, flashy shortstop. Throws the leather around and gets to balls that you don't expect him to get to. But, yeah, development and progress at the plate. But if he can put it together, well, what a complete player he could become. Trying to replace Colby Branch, All-American freshman for Baylor last year that transferred to Georgia. Some big shoes to fill there in the shortstop position.
Swing and a miss on 1-2. Brett Sears mixing and matching, pulling the string for a couple of swinging strikeouts. He gets 3 Ks in the inning, working around an error and a single.
Hey,
Check
Mitch.
1, 2, 3. Hey, Coach, can you hear us?
Hey, Mitch, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Great.
This is Will, by the way.
We're doing Will this inning. Nothing as we go to the third. So pleased to be joined now by the 5th-year head coach, Will Bolt, for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Great to see you again, Coach. What a start for your pitcher on the mound. Brett Sears, man, is he fired up or what with those 5 Ks?
Yeah, made a big pitch there to get us off the field. Both pitchers are kind of cruising. Looks like the hitters have been a little anxious and jumpy. We'll see how it plays out here the second time through the order for both squads.
Hey, Will, Pat Combs here. I know you said in our interviews you're looking to take the next step. What's important for you today to see like you're taking that next step?
Yeah, just staying in the moment, just competing for a full 9 innings no matter what happens. I mean, baseball's a crazy game. You could win 14-0 one game and, lose 1-0 the next game. So you just staying present, staying in the moment, competing, and just doing what it takes to win.
Yeah, so many newcomers for you. 29 this year, Coach. Tell us a bit about Riley Silva here, your JUCO newcomer at the plate.
He can really run. I mean, he's got some game-changing speed. He plays a really good center field, and he's a guy that we're looking to set the table at the bottom of the order for us.
Coach, really appreciate the time. Great to have you joining us here on the broadcast, and best of luck here rest of the tournament.
All right, thanks, fellas.
As Riley Silva digs in, he is a Canadian who has, as Coach was mentioning, tremendous speed. Was actually coached by a Nebraska alum, and Adam Stern, as part of the Great Lakes Canadian program. So that's how the connection happened. And if you're asking, how does a Canadian end up in Lincoln, Nebraska? Well, that's how. And it's Silva, the number 9 hitter, makes his Husker debut leading off the inning.
Yeah, he can really run, and Will's thankful to have him. He does, as he talked about setting the stage at the bottom of the lineup, he really is kind of that top of the lineup type guy that you have at the bottom. So you've really got, with Brumbaugh and Silva, 2 guys capable of starting innings and making things happen with their speed.
Again, just catches a piece on 1-2. Silva stole 44 bases last year at the JUCO level in Barton City in Kansas. There's a good look at Silva as he digs in for the 1-2. Works a changeup outside to 2-2. It's a guy who reminds you a little bit of a Jackson Hallmark type player who was a great speedster for 4 seasons, graduated in 2021 for Nebraska.
Yeah, those comparisons have been made, and I think they're applicable to Riley Silva. Good eye at the plate as well.
And fastball just running high and outside, and a full count to Silva.
Marriott with 29 pitches at the end of 2. Had an easy first. This
hot shot. Oh, Pendergrass, nice snag. Marriott able to beat the speedster Silva to the bag. Well, not only, Pat, you're mentioning the economy of pitches so far. You know, though, if you've got Silva at the plate, you got to get on your horse getting off that mound.
Man, you got to bust it. No hesitation by Marriott. Otherwise, Silva would have beat that out. But what a play on the front end by Will Pendergrass. Makes that diving backhanded stop. Perfect flip to his pitcher and retires the speedster Silva. That's a huge out for the Bears.
You can't be wasting web gems in the field if you don't get off the mound. Oh, Pendergrass too. That was special. We talk about defense. It was a unit that really struggled backing up its pitchers a season ago, and Coach Mitch Thompson, he told us, Pat, he felt like his team at times wasn't as far off as the 20-35 record indicated. They had a number of games that were decided by a play or two, and plays like that can really make a difference. Yeah, no doubt. It was just a lack of depth across the roster, but showed up on the mound a lot. They just didn't have the depth in the bullpen, and they went out and retooled and found some really good arms. It's going to be exciting to see what happens here as this tournament progresses for Baylor and how Mitch Thompson and James Leverton, his pitching coach, utilize those new arms this year. Brumbaugh fouling back the 1-1. It'll really help, Pat. Marriott takes the step. That's kind of where it all starts, because nobody else really has much experience for Baylor. That's right. Need him to come through and be that legitimate Friday night guy. That'll take a lot of pressure off that bullpen. Fastball misses upstairs. 2-2 to Brumbaugh, who he struck out to start the game. The 6-foot junior from Tomball, Texas. Called strike 3, paints the black, and a 4th strikeout for Marriott. Yeah, second on Brumbaugh, and just a good pitch up in the zone. Brumbaugh thought this might have been a tad high. Good frame job there by the Baylor catcher, Harrison Cayley. Gets the call from A.J. Wendell, and there's out number 2 for the inning. Sets up Josh Overbeek, who flew to left his first time up. And the lefty takes a breaking ball in for a strike. They love what Overbeek brings to this Husker lineup, a really physical, hard-nosed player who had an outstanding JUCO season at Cisco in Texas. Takes a ball inside, hit .415 with 11 homers last year. You see those numbers from his JUCO season. Yeah, a ton of power, no doubt. And just goes back to that recruiting chain that Will Bolt, Rob Childress, their time in Texas, built a lot of great relationships with the coaches around the state. Of course, Will Bolt grew up in Conroe, Texas, so some Texas roots, but they have maintained some strong recruiting connections. And boy, what a big one they found in Overbeek. Yeah, no question. Team that hit 97 home runs last year, a single season record. As Overbeek just stays alive, couple of foul balls in a row. Team that slugged over 500 last year, 2nd in the Big Ten. And opened the season 5th in the 13-team Big Ten preseason poll. Swing and a miss. Marriott jams Overbeek inside. And the 2 starting pitchers are showing out to get this college baseball showdown started. 0-0 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. We'll check in with Baylor head coach Mitch Thompson on the other side.
Watch me roll, grind, and spin. Playgrounds for wheels, that's always a win. One with my chair, but never held back. I do things sitting down, most people standing can't hack. Some might say my condition was fate. My doctors would tell you I'm just redefining great. Watch me. Life-changing orthopedic excellence at Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
You're so much more than just a landowner. You're a gardener, a groundskeeper, and a landscaper. That's why you need versatile, durable Kubota equipment.
The American Western Weekend. 2 nights of Western sports and live entertainment. Deep in the heart of Texas. March 8th and 9th, Globe Life Field. Friday night, the American Performance Horsemen with a concert by Luke Bryan. Saturday night, the American Rodeo with a concert by Post Malone. The American Western Weekend, March 8th and 9th. Tickets on sale at AmericanRodeo.com.
0-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. And we are so pleased to be joined right now by Baylor head coach Mitch Thompson. You told us, Coach, you wanted to see more competitive pitching and defense. I mean, how about the leather flash by Will Pendergrass at first in that last inning?
Big time play. Really proud of that effort, and finishing the play and Mason being where he's supposed to be to get the out. It's a big time deal.
Mitch, Pat Combs here. Great to see you back in the dugout. But I got to ask you, man, you get back to your dream job, and then you produce this toughest schedule in the country to start the season. What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, right, Pat? No, we're just ready to play some good people, and we'll see how that goes.
Last thing for you, Coach Mason Marriott. What have you seen out of him so far, first 3 innings?
Love how he's been competitive, filling it up in strike zone, attacking the hitters, and had a couple of walks in the second inning, but pitched out of it, and he's been pretty good so far, so it's been great.
Coach, really appreciate the time. Best of luck this season. We won't give you too much grief on that gauntlet. Only Pat will. He's allowed to.
That's all right. That's all right. I appreciate it. Pat can give me grief. I got it. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mitch.
Absolutely. Our interviews with both Nebraska head coach Will Bolt and Baylor head coach Mitch Thompson brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. And it's a 1-2 count. Slider taken just low to Harrison Cayley, 9-1-2 for the Bears as we start the bottom of inning number 3.
Yeah, I got to give my brother some.
No doubt.
Yeah, you can't let him off the hook on that one. It's like, hey, you're trying to rebuild the roster. You've got this job going here with Baylor. You brought in some great assistant coaches, and he schedules what has been rated the toughest schedule in the country to start the season. But he wants to see what these Bears are made of early.
Cayley takes a called strike 3. We're getting a great test all weekend, and especially with Brett Sears. I mean, the guy just seems to have Baylor's hitters completely guessing, Pat, not really sure what to expect. That's 6 Ks now in the first time through the order.
Yeah, well, what a corner Sears has turned. You look at his numbers from last year. We talked about him pitching out of the bullpen for the Huskers. Really kind of an up and down year. The numbers weren't great, but he put it together in the summer, brought it back through the fall. And, man, he has been lights out, and you're seeing it. This is exactly what Will Bolt and Rob Childress have seen. And they're saying, hey, we're going to stick in this Friday start, see how you do here at Globe Life. But, man, what a start for Brett Sears.
That's not a shock to Baylor. They can't wait to take time here with how fast he's working. A pitch down and in after a strike to Enzo Apodaca, who struck out looking, one of those 6 casualties the first time through the order. Just outside on 1-1. It's not quite Mark Burley level fast, but still, I mean, it's really impressive with how Sears, he takes the ball, he's right back on the rubber, and here we go. Punch to center field by Apodaca. Silva retreats but has room, and it's a comfortable second out of the inning as Apodaca is retired for the second time.
Well, your defense loves it. They'll tell pitchers, hey, we love when you work fast. We don't have to look around, wait around for the next pitch. You're up and going, and it just keeps them in the game. Usually the outcome is players on their toes making better plays for you, and Sears wasting no time. He's been outstanding. Only give up the single to Pendergrass last inning, and outside the error, only 2 Bears base runners here after 2 2/3.
Just misses outside to Johnson. We were told he could get to about 80 pitches today, even though being a traditional reliever as a called strike is in there. Now, he did start predominantly in his early part of the career at Western Illinois, started 10 of his 11 appearances, had a complete game in that stretch, and gets a little nubber off the foot of Johnson, a foul ball.
He has really kept these Baylor hitters off balance. Talked about that 4-pitch mix. He's mixed in the breaking ball, the slider, the changeup has been outstanding against these Baylor left-handed hitters. Gets Johnson out in front of that last changeup delivery, and that has been an out pitch against these left-handers.
The 1-2, not close on that breaking ball. Is that just 40 pitches starting this AB? So you figure potentially about halfway there, but if Will Bolt could get 5 innings out of him, he would take that in a heartbeat. Foul tip just out of the reach of the catcher Josh Karen, and so Johnson stays alive.
That caught Karen. A.J. Wendell, as great umpires do, will give the catcher a chance to recoup and give him a breather.
Sears back onto the mound, went to the Northwoods League, one of the best college wood-bat summer leagues, the Rockford Rivets, where he pitched last year and had a .62 ERA. Tried the front door on the fastball, thought he got called strike 3, but Wendell does not give it to him, and the count runs full.
Yeah, I thought that was a great call. Boy, just missed. Good frame job there by Karen, but just a tad inside. That time he gets the call.
Got
same
him
pitch.
this time in a similar spot. Johnson not happy as he is rung up. And Brett Sears has tied a Nebraska career high. 7 strikeouts in 3 innings. Good old-fashioned pitcher's duel to start the season here at Globe Life in Arlington. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Kubota. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. And Shriners Children's. 6 remarkable kids have each teamed up with a participating university for the Shriners Children's College Showdown Team Fundraising Challenge. All weekend long, teams will compete to see which fan base can raise the most money in support of Shriners Children's. Go online to shrinersshowdown.com to donate in honor of your favorite team today. Now, wonderful to have Shriners Children's as the presenting sponsor, kicking off the 2024 season as we start the top of the 4th with a grounder to the left side. Nice stab by Hunter. Toplansky makes the throw across the diamond to retire Dylan Carey. And the story so far, Pat, it's been the pitching. Mason Marriott and Brett Sears, a combined 12 Ks, just 1 hit allowed between the two of them.
Yeah, it's been a duel, like you said, and great starts by both these guys. And you know, it's got to be pleasing to both head coaches and their pitching coaches. You know, both players came in with a lot to prove this year. Sears, of course, really not a starter in his Husker career, getting his first one and putting together a gem. Marriott has been a Friday starter for the Bears, but a lot of up and down in his seasons in his 3rd year as a Baylor Bear, but certainly getting off on the right foot today.
He faces the heart of the Nebraska order for the 2nd time, Josh Karen. Takes a fastball just high, and it's 1-1. Yeah, Marriott started off really as a closer as a freshman, led the team with 5 saves. And trying to find his role. They really wanted to stretch him out, become a top starter, but as you talk about, Pat, numbers weren't good last year as he misses outside on 1-1. It was really more just a case, though, of a couple of big innings that kind of skewed the numbers and made it look a lot worse than it actually was.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I've watched him mature as a pitcher, and just like a lot of freshmen that come in, they're really throwers. You know, they're trying to lean back and throw as hard as they can. They don't understand the strike zone as well. The command has really gotten a lot better for Marriott. His secondary pitches has definitely improved. And he's really starting to put it together. Now it's just that mental piece. You know, can you become that go-to guy? And you got to be one that can limit those big innings, and that's what the Bears are looking for this year.
Another K, the 2-2 fastball right past Karen. And it's 6 punch-outs for Marriott already. 1 shy of a Baylor career high. And we're in inning number 4.
Well, outstanding job by both these pitchers, and mixing pitches up well. Marriott has had that effective fastball up in the zone. It's really gotten by some of these Husker hitters, not being as disciplined as they need to be with 2 strikes.
Tyler Stone, one of just 2 Huskers to reach so far. He walked back in the second and works a pitch down and in, 1-0. As we play in the top of the 4th, underway, first of 3 games for you today, and 9 games this weekend from Globe Life Field. High pop into shallow left, should be routine for Wesley Jordan, and it is. Stone flies out, and a lightning fast 1-2-3 inning for Mason Marriott. Still looking for our first run of 2024. Middle of the Baylor order, trying to change that next.
You're so much more than just a landowner. You're a gardener, a groundskeeper, and a landscaper. That's why you need versatile, durable Kubota equipment.
3 bands, 1 stadium. Def Leppard, Journey, the Steve Miller Band. Together. 3 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame icons. Their biggest hits. August 12th, Globe Life Field. Tickets on sale now at DefLeppardJourney2024.com.
Sometimes you just need a little wonderful in your life. So why not go to a place made for it? Arlington, Texas. It's a city made for fun and excitement and all the things you love to do. And even some things you didn't know you loved until you came here and found them. Come see for yourself why Arlington is a world of wonderful.
Well, what a start if you are a pitcher named either Brett Sears or Mason Marriott. It has been a collection of nastiness so far. 6 punch-outs for Marriott in his 4 innings, and on the other side, Pat, how about Brett Sears tying a career high with 7 strikeouts?
Yeah, outstanding starts for both these pitchers, and something that obviously when you get the Friday start to start the season, you never know, right? And I can tell you, Will Bolt's like, hey, we think we know what we got with Brett Sears. We obviously had him in the bullpen last year, but we're not sure what he can do as a starter. But man, has he been lights out. And the Bears know what they got with Marriott's stuff. They were just saying, hey, can he put together the confidence side with the stuff and put together some good numbers? And boy, he's been equally as good and has had to be with the way Sears has been pitching.
A ball and a strike to start this inning to Hunter Simmons. It's 3, 4, and 5 due up for Baylor. As Sears gets him out in front. And it's 1-2 to Hunter Simmons, one of the 8 returning starters into this lineup. Not all of them are in the opening day lineup, but he led the team in Big 12 play with 17 RBIs. He watches a breaking ball down in the dirt for ball 2. One of those JUCO transfers that Mitch Thompson's staff was very aggressive in coming in, as he was a really good player at Howard JUCO. Chops the 2-2 to the left side off the glove of Overbeek, comes right to Carey, who makes the play. But when you're hot, and Brett Sears got a very fortuitous bounce on a rocket, 99 miles an hour off the bat.
Well, great job, Overbeek, just to get a glove on it. And it just fortuitously skips over to Carey. So that's the key for Dylan Carey to make a clean play.
Yeah, there you
get
go.
A ball off the third baseman's glove.
Exactly.
It completes his first assist of the season. And great fashion to start the inning here. Overbeek to Carey to Stone.
Just like you draw it up. Slow roller to the right side off the bat of Toplansky. That's easy for Brumbaugh, and it's 2 up, 2 down. Seems at this point like Baylor, they're just trying to make contact after 7 of the first 11 batters strike out. What adjustments would you be looking to make here if you're the hitting coach, Zach Dillon, for Baylor?
Yeah, I had to be the message in the dugout from Dillon to his hitters is, hey guys, we got to be disciplined, but you have to look for mistakes, and when you get one, you can't miss it, because Sears has been really good spotting it, really taking away the middle of that plate. So if you're Baylor, you are looking for contact, Ben, but you got to really focus on, hey, let's pick out a pitch in this sequence that we know we can put the barrel on.
Wesley Jordan gets into one to center. Silva working back, but just has enough room as he's on the edge of the warning track. Jordan knew he just missed that one, got a pretty good pitch to hit. And it's yet another 1, 2, 3 innings. 7 straight retired by Brett Sears. 0-0 as we go to the 5th.
We're at the University of Nebraska today to introduce Poppy to the Husker baseball team. This gives us an opportunity to show the Husker baseball team what they'll be playing for at the Shriner Children's College Showdown.
I wanted to introduce you to somebody really special here. Poppy's here with us today.
When my daughter Poppy was born, she was born with a limb deficiency and was missing her left arm. Throughout the years, Shriners Children's has helped us and provided care for us and given her the confidence to go through life and to advocate for herself.
I think they're kind of like family to me. You know, I grew up around them, and there are people who are here for me and here to help me.
The great thing about Shriners is that they give world-class care regardless of the family's ability to pay.
Shriners is a great choice. I think their research is beyond a lot of hospitals, and a lot of doctors and hospitals get their research from Shriners because of how developed they are.
It was clear to see from Poppy's interactions with us all today that she's had a long-standing relationship with Shriners. I think it's put her in a spot where she's very grateful for Shriners.
One thing we're really excited about is having Poppy with us in Arlington for the Shriners Children's College Showdown. Go Big Red!
And we are so excited to bring Poppy in our next half inning. That is still to come here on the broadcast, and part of the outstanding weekend that is this Shriners Children's College Showdown presented by Kubota. Every single team has a kid with them, and it's just so cool to be a part of, Pat. You've been, I know, so tied to Shriners and called all these tournaments here in the past. Had a lot of events in the past in Houston. Now we're here in Arlington to kick off this season, and it just means so much more to have it mean an additional element here beyond just the baseball.
Yeah, Ben, and when you ask these players, the teams that have interacted with these child patient ambassadors, they all come away with the same impression. Wow, it's just a different perception of life when you see what these kids have overcome. So I always look forward to these interviews, and they're always the highlight for me of the tournament, just learning more about their stories and seeing what they've had to overcome in life as they're watching some of these unbelievable, talented ball players do their thing on the field.
100%. And right now, all the children ambassadors are watching just 2 tremendous pitchers going to work. Mason Marriott mows down Gabe Swanson on 3 pitches to start the 5th. And only Marriott at 59 pitches now, Pat, through 4 1/3.
Yeah, and 7 strikeouts. And this is what Marriott's capable of. When we talked about his stuff, it is big league type stuff, and he has put it together today. A big step in the right direction for him, coming off of kind of an up and down 23 season. I know James Leverton, his pitching coach, is nothing but smiles right now with the way his pitcher's executing.
This case, Sanderson now takes a called strike. And there have been flashes in the past, and a 7 strikeout performance against Duke was a big one, a really good team out of the ACC. As the 0-1's fouled off by Sanderson. Just the consistency, and that's where the coaching staff is hoping that his process that has really improved starts to pay dividends, along with that uptick in fastball velocity. Now sitting pretty comfortably all day today in that 93, 94 range after being a low 90s guy last year.
And he's touched 95 a couple of times, and he definitely has the heater working. Now, if you're Nebraska, I think you've also have to be thinking offensively. Hey, with the way Marriott is pitching, one is be more disciplined, stay off that high fastball, especially with late in the count, but also cut the plate in half. Look either inside or outside, but you've got to maybe cut it in half and look for something that you can put the barrel on.
Right now, no barrels to be found. It's that newfound curveball for Mason Marriott, gets Sanderson out in front. Who would have thought the transition from slider to curve would make such a big difference, Pat? But we're seeing that in spades today for Marriott.
Well, it's a breaking ball that has more depth to it this year, and that's what Leverton was looking for Marriott. We got to get something that's breaking down, not across the plate. And certainly that ball had a lot of bite down, as you saw Kaylee go down and pick it up.
Cole Evans, big wave and a miss. So that's a new career high for Marriott with his 8th strikeout. And he's retired 9 straight. Drilled just foul down the third base line. And right now, if you're any hitter, you're like, can we just get one of those? Can we extend the chalk a few inches either way? Because we need some help.
No doubt about it. That was just a tick foul. Third base umpire Jeff Minton right on top of that call. That would have gone extra bases. We have not seen an extra base hit this entire game, and Cole Evans making a bid for one there.
The 0-2 to Evans. Able to stay compact, not chase that off speed out of the zone. Evans started his career at Creighton, didn't play much, so he went the JUCO route where he had a couple of huge seasons. But he takes a changeup right down the middle. 9 punch outs for Marriott as we're still without a score at Globe Life Field.
Today we're here to introduce Gray to the Baylor Bears baseball team and to share his story with the team for them to understand, what all Shriners do for the children.
Gray, can you tell me a little bit about Shriners and how it's been a part of your life?
When I was 2, I tripped and fell into a campfire. Got 2nd-degree burn. We went to the hospital named Shriners Children, Texas, down in Galveston.
He's had 12 surgeries on his hands. They've done a lot of the laser treatments to help with the scarring.
It's been awesome for us to open Baylor up to Gray and to his family, but it's even been better for us to get a chance to meet them.
Seeing him out here today, and we got to hit with him, throw with him, being around the guys, it was awesome to see that he gets a chance to do all of that after that accident.
Getting to this point, we're actually coming up on his 10-year anniversary of his accident. Seeing where he's at after everything that happened has just been amazing.
Yeah, one of the things that impresses me the most is the impact that our healthcare system has made in Gray's life, regardless of the family's ability to pay.
Hey, sick 'em Bears!
We're halfway home in game number 1 of 3 to kick off opening day 2024 from the Shriners Children's College Showdown presented by Kubota. Each coach has to be thrilled, Pat, with the newfound consistency they're seeing in their arms, but the difference right now is for the hitting coaches here. It's not been quite the same story, and look on the right there, you see Lance Harville, the third base coach, also serves as the team's hitting coach in his 5th year on Will Bolt's staff. It's not going well so far for his guys at the plate.
Yeah, both hitting coaches are not happy at this moment, but you got to tip your hat at times to pitching, and that's what you're seeing here. These two pitchers are just battling back and forth in these innings, and just great stuff, man. You got to make adjustments as hitters, certainly, but these pitchers are making it difficult today.
And here comes Mason Greer, who's finally able to put an end to a dominant run from Brett Sears. Stays back, loops a little sinker down in the zone, up over the head of Brumbaugh at second, and Greer is on for the 2nd time after he reached on an error.
Yeah, one of the few mistakes out over the plate we've seen Sears make. This time gets down in the count. And Pendergrass stays back. Make that Greer stays back and lines that delivery into right field. Big leadoff hit for the Bears. Only the 2nd of the game for them. And interesting to see how Mitch Thompson plays this. Does he go to small ball now with this game being as tight as it is, or does he let Pendergrass swing away?
A curveball in for a strike. Baylor 21 sacrifice hits last year, 6 out of the 9 teams in the Big 12. This one is chopped foul. 0-2. Big 12 now from 9 to 13 teams this year with the expansion. Baylor picked 11th in the preseason poll. Good news, though, for those teams toward the bottom, at least in the preseason rankings, is the Big 12 tournament from 8 to 10 teams this year. As a fastball misses upstairs, and Baylor last year missed the Big 12 tournament for the first time in school history.
Yeah, that Big 12 tournament will come right back here to Globe Life. Great venue for the Big 12.
The 1-2, smoke to the left side. Another nice snag by Overbeek, goes to 2nd for 1. Brumbaugh's turn not in time, and a couple of bullets off the bat that Overbeek has either been able to knock down or control with the glove.
Yeah, outstanding defense by Overbeek, and responsible for a couple of assists here. This time another diving play saves a base hit. That could have really opened the door for this Baylor offense, but great defense by Joshua Overbeek at 3rd base. Retires Mason Greer at 2nd base.
Brings up Tyree Kemp, who struck out swinging in his first D1 at-bat. Takes a called strike on the outside edge. That's the thing that people don't realize about Nebraska. They were lauded for being this, this super power-heavy slugging team that set all sorts of history last year with the 97 homers that was a new single-season record. But they have some underrated defensive pieces. Had a team fielding percentage of almost .980. Was top 3 in the Big Ten last year.
Well, you're seeing that athleticism so far on the field today.
Bunt popped up and a chance to make the play. It's caught. Overbeek coming all the way from third to make that catch in foul territory. Again, a great read as Overbeek was charging all the way.
And oftentimes you see a third baseman make that type of play. I mean, he came almost close to home plate to make that catch on a bunt that was popped up. Catcher Josh Karen kind of lost it at first, made a good recovery, but Overbeek had a beat on it. It makes the catch. Boy, just again, flashing that great athleticism at third base.
Harrison Cayley, bottom of the order. Little flare into shallow right. Brumbaugh has a beat and makes the catch as he ranges into the outfield. And after the leadoff base hit by Greer, Sears works out of it as we've played 5 from Globe Life Field. Still 0-0, so excited to welcome in the Nebraska honorary team captain, Poppy. She'll join us right after this.
Don't stop, never show fear. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like the legend grows.
Could tie it with one swing. It's tied! It's happened! The Texas Rangers win the World Series! Ranger fans, you're not dreaming!
Watch me. Watch me jump, dive, and splash. Put me by a pool, I'll be soaked in a flash. A girl in the water to swim like a fish. Just 2 simple legs, that was my wish. I'm a sea turtle, shark, a seal on a slide. This is my day of fun, with nothing to hide. Watch me. Pioneers in orthotic and prosthetic technology at Shriners Children's. The most amazing care anywhere.
Protecting what matters most is the mission that matters most. At Lockheed Martin, we know today's threats come from behind, above, and below, and we make sure those who serve stay ahead of them by connecting platforms necessary to dominate every domain across air, land, sea, space, and cyber, using technologies that protect in the same moment they detect. The mission is a safer, more secure world. Our promise is to help make it happen.
Well, this is an absolute treat for us. Our first honorary team captain of the weekend, Poppy, who we saw your video a couple half innings ago, honorary team captain for Nebraska, with us in the booth. Thanks so much for stopping by. How are you?
Good. How are you?
You know, we're good. We have baseball. We're indoors.
Yes.
I heard it, cold winter. You had to survive. I'm a Midwest guy at heart, so I know what that's like. But what's this whole experience been like here? And now actually getting to see the guys you hung out with at practice actually playing a real baseball game.
Yeah, it's been a great honor to be here. I love hanging out with the team. They're great guys.
Well, Poppy, what was the highlight for you spending time with this Husker baseball team?
I really just, before the game, they all came over and they started to talk to me, and they're just very nice. And, they're great athletes, great people, too.
And we start the 6th inning with those Huskers at the plate. Maybe you'll be the good luck charm. We've had like 2 hits, Poppy, this whole game. We need a run. Baseball is all about excitement. So hopefully you could be the spark. From the video that we watched, I noticed so many guys that were joking around with you, having fun. It was kind of like you were just a part of the team. What was that like, just, all of a sudden being a part of the conversation here as we get a bunt and a retirement there on a Toplansky throwout of Riley Silva? What was that like, just getting to hang out? It almost seemed like you were just an honorary teammate, really, the way the guys treated you.
Yeah, they have a great welcoming atmosphere, and it just felt really good to be a part of the team.
Well, Poppy, tell us about your condition, how you got to Shriners. I'd love to hear more of your story.
Yeah, so I was born with a limb deficiency in my left hand, and I have my elbow, but when I was 2 years old, a Shriner came up to us, and they asked if we've heard of Shriners, and that's where it all started.
Oh, that's great. Well, I want to tell you about a former teammate of mine, Jim Abbott. Does that name ring a bell?
Yes.
Yeah. So
there we go.
When I saw you playing, it reminded me, there's Jim Abbott right there, right? Yep. Well, tell us how about your sporting career. What do you enjoy doing and playing?
Yeah, I love to play soccer. It's my thing.
Poppy, the soccer star. As we get a called strike here to Caden Brumbaugh. Poppy joining us in the booth right now. And it's so wonderful to have you here. So you get the diagnosis, you have the limb deficiency, and someone you wanted to be involved in sports. What was that like, just trying to figure out how you could still be active and still live out your dreams as a kid who just wants to be able to play?
Yeah, I was a very independent kid and still am. And Shriners taught me how to be more independent, especially with sports.
It's so wonderful.
Yeah, Poppy, I hear a lot of those stories about not only Shriners great at helping the physical side to help prepare your body, but it's really a lot of the confidence you get and the conversations you have with other Shriners patients that makes a difference, right?
Exactly.
Talking with Poppy here, the Nebraska honorary team captain, joining the team as we get a base hit. There we go, Poppy. We knew you'd be a spark as Brumbaugh serves it down the line. Takes a heavy turnaround first and will stay on the bag at first base. I got to think, Pat, my guess is that Poppy is a striker. That's my guess. Your position.
Oh, in soccer?
Yeah.
Yep.
I got it. Let's go. So Poppy, so far I've been 0 for 2 on challenges, guessing the challenges in the field. So I need to retire from that. I need to start guessing what our Shriners, our team honorary captains, what position they played in their
Yes, exactly.
I think I found my calling. So
yes, you did.
What's the hardest part about being a striker?
I think just everyone coming at you, you just have to remain calm all the time.
Calm under pressure. That's what these pitchers have been today, Poppy. That's why we're not seeing any runs so far. They've all been calm under pressure, but now we have our first mound visit. That is pitching coach James Leverton for Baylor.
Pat, I'm reading lips. I think he's saying, all right, guys, Poppy's in the booth. This is serious, okay? Don't panic, but we know that there's some voodoo working against us on the broadcast right now. That's definitely what he's saying.
Of course.
Yeah.
Put that out of your minds. There's Darren Thomas. He's got his notebook, but he has nothing to combat Poppy in the broadcast booth.
Well, you say, staying calm. I wonder just, when you're in the middle of a game, how much do you ever think about, what you've been through, all that you've overcome, to kind of help with just the mental aspect of, let's say just a soccer game where, team's coming at you and maybe your team's down. Like, how much of that do you actually think about when you're playing?
I just play the game. I don't really think about what challenges I have.
That's the way you do it.
I think a good way to do it, yeah.
Well, Poppy, you think about looking forward. What do you have planned in life? What do you want to do?
I'm kind of between things right now, thinking about stuff in the medical field or something in finance.
Oh, man. Two great fields.
Yes.
Polar opposites, but two great ones.
Two great ones. I didn't hear broadcasting in there, but that's okay. You're getting your fill right now.
We'll get there.
We'll get. I mean, I feel like if Nebraska scores a run here, we might be able to sway.
She's in.
Yes.
Will Bolt will demand she comes back to the booth during their offensive innings.
Josh Overbeek at the plate with a swing and a miss here. So, actually, the hardest part about being a striker, I mean, what's your favorite part, and just about soccer in general and that position in particular? What do you love about it?
I love the team aspect. You really grow close to a team, and they become a family.
Mason Marriott trying to do his best to keep Brumbaugh close at first. Great speed there at first base.
You've been a baseball guy your whole life, Pat, but they do say soccer is the beautiful game.
It's a beautiful game.
The most team game out there.
Yes.
Not a lot of scoring like today.
Well, we're 0-0 right now. As this pitch is in the dirt, and a chance for Brumbaugh to jump on it. He gets down to second. Really fast instincts by Caden Brumbaugh, making his Nebraska debut today.
Yeah, good jump at first base. It was a pitch in the dirt by Marriott. Tried to go breaking ball down. Good hold there by Overbeek. Allows Brumbaugh to advance. Kaylee's throw not in time.
This is only the second time Nebraska's had a runner in scoring position so far, with Overbeek at the plate in a 1-1 count. What are you feeling right now? What's happening on this AP?
I'm very excited. I believe they can get a run.
You've convinced me. We'll watch Overbeek take a breaking ball inside, so it's 2-1. Which players, I don't know if you remember specifics, but which players do you think about your visit there that you had the most fun just talking with and hanging out with?
Yeah, I had a great time with the assistant coach. Like, we were talking and he explained baseball and how he participates in it. But all the players are really great guys.
Very cool. On a Nebraska team too that, it's amazing how fan base wise, Nebraska hasn't made the NCAA tournament in a couple years yet. They still are top 10 in the country in attendance. Yes. It just shows you the passion that they have. It's so cool that you're able to be a part of that. As we see this swing and a miss here on 3-1 to Overbeek. I assume have you been to a game in Lincoln in the past?
I have.
What's the atmosphere like?
Nebraska shows up to everything. They bring a great atmosphere.
Yeah, Big Red travels well.
They do. A lot of fans here supporting you and the team today as Overbeek waves and misses on 3-2. So it's out number 2 of the inning. But don't worry, Poppy. We still got a chance for you to get a Nebraska run. Dylan Carey now will dig in. And Poppy, the honorary team captain, joining us here in the broadcast booth, part of the Shriners Children's Classic. And this tournament has really become known for so many of the teams, even the ones not based in the state of Texas. They do travel really well, and it's a point that the tournament they make is to bring teams that have great traveling fan bases, and it's always an honor for these teams to play. And I'm sure it's so cool for you now to be a part of this. And here we go. We get everybody here.
Yeah.
Well, Mitch Thompson out of the dugout for Baylor. Looks like we're going to have our first pitching change of the tournament.
He knew there was too much juju here with Poppy. He's like, I gotta go to the pen. And so with that, we'll get a new reliever set up and step aside here on the broadcast. Poppy, can't thank you enough for doing this. You're such an inspiration to us all. Thank you so much for telling us a bit about your story and just your experience with the team. It's been a pleasure. And I have a feeling if there's a run, we will be dedicating it to you here out of this commercial. So thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Poppy joining us will tell you more on the other side about the new pitcher entering the fray for Nebraska, or for Baylor, I should say, in a 0-0 game. The Shriners Children's College Showdown unites athletic excellence and the most amazing care anywhere. Shriners Children's is dedicated to improving the lives of children around the world. All care is provided regardless of a family's ability to pay. To learn more, visit shrinerschildrens.org today. We were so lucky to be joined in the booth by Poppy, an incredibly inspiring story she has as the Nebraska honorary team captain. We have honorary team captains for all 6 teams here participating that will be joining us in the booth at some point throughout the weekend, Pat. So just awesome to have Poppy in the booth. And we are true to our word. If Nebraska gets a hit here and drives in the first round of the season, we will be dedicating that to Poppy. It'll be all her doing.
There you go.
And in the meantime, after a really good start for Mason Marriott with a career-high 10 strikeouts, with a runner in scoring position, head coach Mitch Thompson goes to the pen, and a debut for Patrick Hale. Back in his hometown, the Arlington native pitched at Lamar last year and is in the Big 12 for the first time. Comes in a big spot.
Yeah, sure does. The 6'6", 250-pounder. He's a redshirt junior. You said it, at Arlington Martin High School. But local product here, I'm sure had dreams of playing at Globe Life at some point. Well, here he is in a 0-0 tie, 6th inning, first game of the Shriners College Showdown. And Hale coming on to try to bail out Mason Marriott here with a Husker runner. That'll be Caden Brumbaugh at second base, representing the go-ahead run.
And first pitch just misses to Dylan Carey. Struck out and grounded out against Mason Marriott. Little check swing. And no offer. It's 2-0. A guy who has a 3-pitch mix, throws from a higher arm slot. Does Patrick Hale, and was really good last year for a Lamar team in the Western Athletic Conference. Made 4 spot starts amidst 21 total appearances, 3-0 with a 3.38 ERA. Pumps that strike in.
He's a guy that the Bears can do a lot of things with. He can start, he can close. Middle guy today, he's piggybacking behind Marriott. A tough situation, but great arm slot. You sit over the top, and he'll sit low 90s with a fastball. Good breaking ball, downward tilt to it.
Nice looking fastball there as he paints the outside black. Well, and even though he's a Texas guy, there's so many Texas guys, right? You have to do something to get on a team's radar. He pitched against Baylor last year in a midweek, and in his 1 inning of relief, struck out the side on 16 pitches, and the coaches went, whoa.
Yeah, it was an eye-opener. It's what they saw last year from him.
Punch shot to the right side. That's down. Dylan Carey delivers our first run of 2024. Digging for second and is in there. Our Shriners Children's hero Poppy delivers. Nebraska on top 1-0.
Well, big things expected from Dylan Carey. Trying to fill some big shoes at shortstop. He comes through with the first big RBI knock for the Huskers. Puts Big Red on the board. They now have a lead, but Dylan Carey delivering. Not a bad pitch from Hale. Just goes down and gets it. Breaking ball that was breaking down and away. Goes to right center. And Nebraska with the lead.
Took us almost 90 minutes to get a run home in game number 1 of the season, but Carey delivers. And now it's Josh Caron trying to keep the line moving. How about the hustle, too, of Carey? Not content with the base hit. Was thinking 2 right out of the box as he drives in Brumbaugh. And that closes the book on Mason Marriott with a foul tip off the bat of Josh Caron. So tough luck there for Marriott to have to give up the inherited runner. But 5 2/3, 1 hit, 2 walks, a career-high 10 strikeouts, and arguably Marriott's best start of his Baylor career.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Ben. That's outstanding start for Marriott, any way you cut it. Even leaving now with the deficit. What a job by Dylan Carey. You think about what he did last year for Nebraska. You know, batted .275, respectable, but 15 of his 57 hits went for extra bases. Make it 1 for 1 in that department to start the season.
No doubt. And now it's Caron, who had a solid sophomore season in his first year as a starter, hitting .256 with 7 homers last year. Slices it foul as he stays alive. And first pressure moments of this game. Only the second time Nebraska had a runner in scoring position with that Carey RBI double. Now it's Caron trying to keep the line moving. Former Wisconsin State High School Player of the Year out of Sun Prairie. Waves and misses right over the top. Fastball in the heart of the zone. And Hale gets out of it, but not before Dylan Carey gets us off the mark. The first run of 2024 as he drives in Caden Brumbaugh. It's Nebraska 1, Baylor 0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
You're so much more than just a landowner. You're a gardener, a groundskeeper, and a landscaper. That's why you need versatile, durable Kubota equipment.
Sometimes you just need a little wonderful in your life. So why not go to a place made for it? Arlington, Texas. Come see for yourself why Arlington is a world of wonderful.
Kane Brown in the Air Tour. Saturday, September 14th, Globe Life Field. Special guests, Cole Swindell, Locash, and Ray Lynn. Crossover superstar Kane Brown live. So thank God I get to on sale now at KaneBrownMusic.com. Presented by AEG Presents.
Watch me. Watch me tumble, jump, and soar. When our squad is on point, we own the floor. Dazzling stunts and dances are my jam. Pain once caused issues, but they had a plan. A life-changing brace with no surgery to fear. Activity without limits, one more reason to cheer. Watch me. Industry-leading scoliosis treatment at Shriners Children's. The most amazing care anywhere.
Now look at Enzo Apodaca as Baylor faces a one-run deficit. They try to match what Dylan Carey and the Huskers just pulled off in the top half as we go to the bottom of the sixth in a really fun back-and-forth game where the Bats now starting to find a little more confidence.
Well, the Huskers did. The Baylor Bats have not found that confidence yet. It's because of this guy right here, Brett Sears. You know, that number means something in Texas, Ben. There's a guy with a statue out front of this stadium named Nolan Ryan.
I've heard, yeah, familiar.
You wear that number here, you better pitch up to it. Brett Sears has certainly done that today for the Huskers.
Yeah, Husker Bats finally scratch across a run. What can Apodaca and Baylor do? He pops this first pitch up in foul territory, playable, and caught by Overbeek. So not there. Baylor did get a runner on to lead off the last inning, but unable to advance him whatsoever. And now it's this new look top of the order for the Baylor Bears, and Ty Johnson right now, you're so right, Pat, just looking for any sort of answers against Brett Sears, who's working fast, he's working ahead. It's been rare that we've seen that, a first pitch ball today.
Yeah, his first pitch strike ratio has got to be through the roof, and he's been ahead of these hitters all day. And we talked about that tremendous strikeout to walk ratio from last year. And he is putting it together again today.
Called strike, taken on 2-0 by Johnson, who is struck out looking in back-to-back ABs.
Yeah, 7 Ks, no walks, no free passes. That makes it tough on an offense.
That's a called strike number 2 for the McClellan JUCO transfer making his Baylor debut. Joss misses that time. So tough, too. You get rung up back-to-back ABs to let a borderline pitch go, but Johnson really trusting his eye right now at the plate as the 3-2 is punched to the left side. That's past the dive of Carey, and Johnson's patience pays off as he gets a good pitch to hit on 3-2.
Yeah, Johnson hits the bullet through the infield. Nice diving play by Carey. Couldn't come up with it, but great job of hitting. Just stayed back. You know, he got rung up on that fastball inside in his previous at bat. Stayed back nice and took that fastball delivery the other way.
It's an opportunity now for the heart of the Baylor order, Hunter Simmons, to do some damage. And right before he digs in, with Sears right now at 72 pitches, it looks like that will be the end of the line. We were told max of 80. So he's starting to work toward the end of his leash, and that will be that. What an outing, though, for Sears. Gets a big hand from the Nebraska faithful, and he deserves it as he exits, and we'll see the talented freshman Tucker Timmerman, the first option out of the Nebraska bullpen. We'll set the stage for him in a 1-0 game next. Now here's a name where if you're a Big Ten baseball fan, specifically a Nebraska baseball fan, you're ready to hear a lot of. Tucker Timmerman, the 6'3" freshman from Beatrice, Nebraska. Coaches see him as a future Friday night starter, Pat. He's set to make his collegiate debut. A big arm, big time arsenal, and he comes in a big spot. His team up 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, no, he looks the part. It could be a potential big time starter for the Huskers, but Will Bolt, Rob Childress looking for him to come into a tight situation here. How about that? Throw your freshman out there with a 1-0 lead,
yeah.
First game of the season. And that tells you what kind of confidence they have in Timmerman.
We've been here the last few years, Pat. This is always a tournament as Hunter Simmons digs in and fouls one off, where sometimes you see freshmen who come out fearless and they embrace the big stage, and it's those, oh boy, they've got it type moments. Could this be the next example of that as Timmerman comes in? Tough assignment, though, has Simmons and Toplansky, 3 and 4 due up.
Well, of course, the challenge for Timmerman, he's been a starter his entire career, all through high school, and coming to this Nebraska program, and you're asked to come out of the pen in a tight situation. How will he handle that pressure?
This ball's pounded to right center. It is down onto the track as Silva has to corral it. They wave around Johnson from third, and we're tied at 1. What a response by Simmons and the Baylor Bears.
Yeah, great job by Hunter Simmons. Got a fastball delivery from Timmerman up and out over the plate. Stays back, pounds it to right center. Extra bases for him. And in back-to-back innings, we've seen RBI doubles. Dylan Carey did it for the Huskers, and now Simmons returns the favor for the Bears.
Simmons was so good in those runner in scoring position opportunities in Big 12 play last year. Led the team with 17 RBI in conference play as his first of the year, and now it's Hunter Toplansky taking a ball inside. So wild how this inning has worked. Both starting pitchers just rolling. Each get into a little trouble. Each go to the end of their line on the pitch counts, and it's like that just created new life for each.
That's right.
Each hitting offense.
Both offenses says, now we got those guys out of the game. Now we can go to work.
Toplansky ahead 2-0 on a changeup down in the dirt.
Well, Timmerman has the stuff. You know, he comes in with a 90-93 mile-an-hour fastball, good arm side movement. He complements that fastball with a good slider and a wipeout type changeup. He'll use that mostly against left-handed hitters.
Chops the 2-0 foul to the right side. This is the toughest assignment you can get against this current iteration of the Baylor lineup, with Simmons hitting just shy of 300 last year. Toplansky tied for the team lead with 6 homers a year ago. Only returner to hit over 300 in 2023. Rips one fair down the right field line. That's fielded well by Stone. He can go to first for the out as Simmons takes third, and the go-ahead run now 90 feet away.
Yeah, change up there that catches Toplansky out front, but put the barrel on it. Tyler Stone with a good nab at first base.
So here's a look at Hunter Simmons over at third. You saw the third base coach a second ago, the now outfielders coach, and recently promoted Jim Blair, who's a former Baylor Bear, played in the late 90s. First pitch stung to center field off the bat of Jordan, but it's right at Riley Silva, who's able to go into a pseudo crouch and make the catch. Baylor does tie the game, and the offenses have started to find some life, each able to get to the opposing bullpen. We're tied at 1, heading to the 7th inning from Arlington. To the 7th inning we go, and a first pitch chopped to the right side off the bat of Tyler Stone. Pendergrass over to field and flips to the covering Patrick Hale. Each team pack homes into the bullpen, each offense starting to show a little bit of life after no runs combined in the first 6 innings. And here we go. Who will blink first out of these respective bullpens?
Yeah, battle the bullpens now with this 1-1 game. Bears choosing to stick with Patrick Hale. It's the quick out here to start the 7th.
He just misses on this first pitch to Gabe Swanson, a guy who can change the game with one swing of the bat. Second team All Big Ten last year out of Johnston, Iowa. Hit a 3-run homer in the Big Ten tournament opener last year against Rutgers. Takes this pitch just on the outside edge. So even though Nebraska, they're talking so much, Pat, about balance, they don't want to be super home run dependent, they've still got dudes who can hit it a mile, and Swanson hit 18 of them last year.
Yeah, no doubt. You've got Karen, you got Stone, Swanson in the middle of that lineup, and as much more athletic as Will Bolt created with this offense, yeah, you still got those big boppers in the middle.
97 home runs. That set a single season Nebraska record last year. After a ball inside, 2-1 coming to Swanson, and he lays off. The off speed works to a 3-1 count. And the draft picks Nebraska had, pretty rare for a team that didn't even make the NCAA tournament, but all 4 of their draft picks were taken in the top 10 rounds, including second baseman Max Anderson, who had 21 bombs last year, and shortstop Bryce Matthews, who had a 2020 season. Ball 4, just missing on the fastball, and for the 2nd straight inning, Nebraska has a man aboard for Case Sanderson as we go down to the 7th hole.
Like a pretty good fastball, just down in the zone. Good eye by Swanson. If he swings at that pitch, may not be a good pitch to try to hit hard somewhere, and earns the walk.
If there's one thing that Hale struggled a little bit last year with, it was command. 23 walks, 238 Ks and 42 1/3.
And Mitch Thompson out of the dugout for the Bears. May see a pitching change.
The guy making his Baylor debut back in his hometown, an Arlington kid, with the long trot coming out for Mitch Thompson. There's a good look at the bullpen cam. Double-barreled action right now. Ethan Calder, a do-it-all lefty, as well as Steven Sepulveda, who's a true freshman. You have a lefty option, a righty option out there as well. And we will see the call to the bullpen. It looks like we'll get the lefty in Ethan Calder, former two-way player who's now transitioned to a lefty on the mound. Mitch Thompson, he told us they would do whatever it took to win a game here early this weekend, and they're doing that as they start to empty the bullpen. Hale gets 2/3 of an inning, gives up a hit and a walk, and he exits. We'll set up the new pitcher in Ethan Calder when we come back. One game in the top of the 7th. Baylor head coach Mitch Thompson looking on as He brings in a new pitcher into the fold after Patrick Hale gets him a couple outs. It is Ethan Calder, second-year pitcher, a lefty who comes in, was initially coming to Waco as an outfielder, but they said, hey, you got a good arm. You can give us some stuff on the mound. He did last year, and now he's back looking to make some improvements off of a 6.89 ERA from a season ago. And he steps into the fray in what's been a slow starting game, Pat, that's really picked up here in the last inning with Nebraska and Baylor each getting on the board in the 6th.
Yeah, Kerry there with the RBI double. Got Nebraska's offense going. Hunter Simmons countered with a double of his own. That's the Bears on the board to tie this game up. And as you said, Ben, Ethan Calder takes over. One out here in the 7th. And Will Bolt does not counter to play a matchup. He's going to leave Case Sanderson in to face him.
Sanderson has walked and struck out so far as Calder immediately goes with the pickoff attempt. That's funny. Will Bolt didn't have many of these decisions to make last year. He hardly had any lefties in the lineup.
That's right.
So it was almost all righties. You wouldn't see many situational lefties come in against his team.
Well, Baylor had one scholarship left-hander on their roster last year. Now they have 7 lefty pitchers to choose from. Calder, his sophomore year, had a pretty good freshman season. The 6.89 ERA, not indicative of how well he threw at times. He had a 3-0 record, 22 appearances for the Bears, 25 innings. Make that 32 2/3 innings. He's a strike thrower. Upper 80s fastball, traditional 3-pitch mix.
It's ahead in the count here, yeah.
Argued that he threw too many strikes at times. Gave up 6 home runs, but had 30 strikeouts, 11 walks.
And like so many young Baylor players last year who developed as the season went on, got a lot better down the home stretch. Goes with another pickoff move. 4 of his final 6 appearances scoreless. Kind of shows to your point, Pat, that the numbers might be ugly just because of some big crooked numbers, but on the whole, they really love what they saw out of his development.
Yeah, definitely matured a lot during the course of the season last year. Had a strong fall, good early spring here. So Mitch Thompson going with Calder as his first lefty out of the pen this season.
Sanderson chops another foul as he stays alive on 0-2. There were rumors back in the fall that Sanderson came out super impressive in those fall scrimmages. They thought maybe he could force his way into the lineup, maybe as a DH. And sure enough, opening day, here we go. DH, 7-0 hitter for Case Sanderson, the true freshman. The 0-2 bounced in the dirt. Really nice job by Cayley to block that one.
Yeah, it was a breaking ball well out of the zone, and Cayley had to move to his left to block it. Ball skips off to his right, but not enough to advance Gabe Swanson from first base.
Swanson only attempted to steal 5 bags last year, and it's been tough for him to get a jump with that lefty motion. That's a pretty good pickoff move, too. He hasn't gotten him yet.
Yeah, no lean, but 1 ball, 2 strike count. See what the Huskers do.
This one smashed to right center. Johnson ranges to his left and has just enough room. Hit well, 105 miles an hour off the bat, but Johnson placed perfectly, and the coaches love his first step ability, and he showed it off right there.
Sure did. Great first step to the ball, and had to have it. That ball was a sinking line drive off the bat of Sanderson. Great jump to make the catch. And the only thing Ty Johnson has to do is remember how many outs there are in the inning. He was headed toward the dugout.
That's so good. And at least there are a few fans out in the right field bleachers. At least he didn't fire the ball into the stands.
That's true. That would
could have been worse.
Disaster.
Fastball outside as Cole Evans digs in. 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Swanson reaching on a walk. With Calder in there, the 3rd pitcher of the day for Nebraska after Mason Marriott had a career high 10 strikeouts and 5 2/3. Taken on the outside edge. Good change up there. And you talk about that crafty 3-pitch mix, Pat, that it really comes into play, especially when you're facing off against a righty.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially experienced hitter like Cole Evans. Have to keep him off balance. He can do some damage.
Fastball perfectly placed. And it's 1-2 in a 1-1 game, top of the 7th. Against a guy, Cole Evans, who had some big moments last year. Hit .305, was a Big Ten Player of the Week after going 9 for 11 in a midweek stretch. It just speaks to the depth of this Nebraska lineup that you look down at the roster and you're going, really? Cole Evans, 8-hole hitter?
Yeah, that's right.
Man, packs a punch. Ball in the dirt as Swanson faked like he was going to second. 2-2 on a good battle.
A couple of good stops there by Cayley this inning to keep Swanson at first base. Really good job by the Baylor backstop.
The 2-2 swing and a miss. Calder goes back to the changeup. Evans out in front. And Calder comes in, puts out the fire after the 1-out walk. Stretch time from Globe Life, 1-1 game as we go to the bottom of the 7th.
Watch me. Watch me shine with every snap. Born to move fans, to cheer and clap. 2 different legs, that's how I play. One built from science to help me on the day. Between these lines, I'm all heart and muscle. Don't stare too long, you'll miss the hustle. Watch me. Pioneers in prosthetic technology at Shriners Children's. The most amazing care anywhere.
Globe Life Field is your home for college baseball with 3 full weekends of action starting February 16th at the home of the Texas Rangers. It all starts with the Shriners Children's College Showdown presented by Kubota featuring Baylor, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, Oregon, Tennessee, and Nebraska. Next is the Kubota College Baseball Series with Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Michigan, and Oregon State in Weekend 2, and TCU, Texas A&M, Arizona State, and USC for Weekend 3. To get tickets and learn more, visit globelifefield.com/collegebaseball.
You're so much more than just a landowner. You're a gardener, a groundskeeper, and a landscaper. That's why you need versatile, durable Kubota equipment.
Oh yeah, first stretch time of the year. Baylor Bear fans making the trip to Arlington, where Baylor did not get here last season for postseason play. They missed out on the Big 12 tournament, but so much optimism, so much excitement, Pat, for a rebuilt team and a team with so much history and pedigree. And I look at my list of MLB alums and I see, oh, Pat Combs. Yeah, oh, Baylor Bear. Yeah, that's right. One of 13 first-round draft picks in team history. Phillies took you back in '88.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Man, it's, you know, when you think about opening days, you know, obviously playoffs in baseball are great fun, but man, the adrenaline gets going. That opening day is something just, unless you get to the playoffs, that's the feeling you get.
No doubt. Hey, Mason Greer, if there's a guy who has motivation to help this Baylor turnaround, it is Greer, making a big impact. The Texas native transfers in from Missouri State. He's been so good today. That's back-to-back leadoff singles for Greer after reaching on an error in the 2nd inning.
I'm sure his dad, Rusty, is sitting somewhere in the stands. Of course, former Texas Ranger and beloved player here in Arlington with the Rangers for a lot of years. Mason getting a chance to play where his, well, not where his dad plays. Dad played across the street, but certainly same area.
And what's now called Choctaw Stadium, right across the street, as Pendergrass swings and misses. That's that JUCO connection that has come back to benefit Mitch Thompson. Greer played for him at McLennan before going to Missouri State, where he was a 2-year starter. Chop to the left side, could be 2. Carey, Brumbaugh, the turn in time.
Yeah, sweet turn there. Started by Dylan Carey. Nice clean play at short. Brumbaugh with a good exchange over to Stone. That erases 2 Bears after Greer led off the inning with a base hit. And Timmerman jams Pendergrass. Easy double play ball for the Huskers.
And Tucker Timmerman given a couple of hard hit balls, but the one thing the coaches love about him as he catches the outside black on this fastball is that he's not afraid to challenge anybody. You don't see that a lot with freshmen. You see a lot of nibbling. Timmerman's not that kind of guy. He wants to go right at you, see what you got. And here he goes right at Tyreek Kemp, gets a foul ball and ahead 0-2 in the count.
You got to have the confidence, the moxie when you pitch for a Big Ten team, and you're going to have a lot of situations this year. I think that Will Bolt puts them in, just like this we're seeing today. We've also thought, puts together a couple of good early season, games out of the bullpen. You might see this guy starting soon.
After a change in the dirt again, Timmerman misses down low. Especially with a team where Will Bolt says, just in general, his strength is really the bullpen. They want to be able to shorten the game, but they also want guys like Timmerman who they can stretch out. Sliced foul on 2-2. And when you lose your top 2 starters, and in Emmett Olson and Jace Kaminska's case, both top 10 draft picks, Olson round 4 to Miami, Kaminska round 10 to Colorado, it's all right, how do we retool? This 2-2 is popped into center. Silva playing really shallow on Kemp, and he had to back up just a couple steps to make that catch. After the Greer base hit, it's a double play and a fly out. We go to the 8th inning, still knotted up at 1.
Watch me. Watch me paddle, carve, and drop in. The water is my canvas. Let the good times begin. Perfect sets of barrels I chase. Where sand becomes surf, waves set the pace. A childhood accident couldn't ruin my vibes. Thanks to one special place, I've never been more alive. Watch me. Shriners Children's. The most amazing care anywhere.
Elevate your ballpark experience with a tour of Globe Life Field and experience the home of the Texas Rangers like never before. Go behind the scenes and explore premium spaces, unique club settings, luxury suites, and more. Along the way, you'll discover rich history, impressive architecture, and fun photo opportunities around every corner. Globe Life Field's many tour offerings are sure to take your ballpark visit to the next level. For more information and to book your experience, visit globelifefield.com.
With Pie Prime by Solo Stove, you can finally think outside the cardboard box. The best pizza isn't delivered to the front door. It's made in the backyard. It doesn't come from a restaurant. It comes from you. Anywhere can be your favorite pizza spot. Any day of the week, all year long. Pie Prime is the pizza oven that's simple enough to be your first and powerful enough to be your last. Pie Prime by Solo Stove.
A good one inside Globe Life Field where we kick off the Shriners Children's College Baseball Showdown presented by Kubota. First of 24 games over the next 17 days, 16 teams here in Arlington, and we've been treated to a very entertaining ball game so far. 1-1, Pat, as we go to the 8th inning, and Ethan Calder staying in for at least this batter to face the lefty Riley Silva. 9-1-2 due up for the Huskers as it's a called strike taken.
Yeah, matchup baseball now, right from here on, I think is what you'll see from both head coaches.
Oh, and he plunks him up and in. Fastball gets away from the lefty Calder. And Steven Sepulveda, the talented true freshman, he was hot, ready to go in the bullpen last inning as we get another look.
Yeah, this was not the game plan against the speedy Riley Silva. Definitely want to keep him off the base, and especially to start an inning, but Calder unsuccessful. That fastball catches him in the shoulder. Huskers will take the leadoff runner in the form of Silva. He's a speedster.
44 stolen bases last year at Barton County JUCO in Kansas. When it's almost a question of, as much as now you have the lefty-righty matchup, Brumbaugh turns the lineup over. Do you keep the lefty in just to have the pickoff move and to try to keep Silva at bay here? It goes into the cat and mouse game.
Yeah, then to figure out what the Huskers going to do here with Brumbaugh. Is he going to be bunting? Certainly shows it there. Do a lot of things with Brumbaugh at the top. Good contact hitter, can hit and run with him. Got major speed at first base. Will Bolt trying to sacrifice Silva over. Lineup will turn over. Behind Brumbaugh is Overbeek and Carey.
Not a shock either to see that lefty pickoff move coming back at Riley Silva. who set a Canadian junior boys record in the 100 and 200 meter dashes in track and field. That tells you the type of raw speed he has over at first. Another bunt shown. This one is down. Well done. Kaylee pounces, makes the throw to the second baseman Greer covering the bag. And a job well done by Brumbaugh. Gets the sacrifice hit down for a Nebraska team that was third in the Big Ten last year. Did sacrifice 26 times.
Yeah, we're both playing small ball, but this is the time of the game to do it, especially when you have top of the order. Some big-time RBI producers coming up behind Brumbaugh.
Again, goes to show that Nebraska, not just a one-trick pony. People talk about them as this, oh, they hit homers and that's it, but they can play small ball. They field really well. Big wave and a miss for Overbeek. What a moment this would be for a guy making his Nebraska debut. JUCO transfer, 0 for 3 with a couple Ks. But those were all against the starter Mason Marriott, who punched out 10.
Well, it's played outstanding defense for the Huskers. Probably has kept a run off the board with a couple of diving stops today.
You see that jersey even in the indoor environs of Arlington. Still getting dirty. Couple of nice snags over at third. The 1-1, but first a pickoff attempt. Even though Silva's at second, that doesn't mean he's immune to getting thrown at.
I mean, just trying to keep him close as well. If it's a hard hit ball to the outfield, trying to take a step away from that leadoff at second base. Might have a shot at home plate, but Silva awfully tough with that speed.
Change up really nicely done there to get Overbeek out in front. He likes that change, especially on the outer half against the righties, where you're thinking at the very least you get one to be rolled over to the left side.
The ball has some good downward movement down and away from the right-hander, and certainly Calder has taken advantage of some aggressive swings. Gets another one there, and the strikeout.
Right back to the changeup. And a huge second out for Ethan Calder to get Overbeek.
That pitch just disappeared in the strike zone and looked like a pretty fat pitch to hit. And Calder pulls a string, and Overbeek for the third swinging his at bat over the top and out front.
Out comes Mitch Thompson again. This is the man who foiled Thompson's plans in the 6th inning. He went out to get Mason Marriott with Carey coming up, and he rudely greeted Patrick Hale with an RBI double to give Nebraska its only run of the game.
Well, the Bears had the right-handed Sepulveda up and throwing, and Mitch Thompson has signaled to the pen he will make the change. Great outing for Ethan Calder, and he will give way to the pen.
So Calder gets 4 outs with a couple of Ks, and we'll welcome in the true freshman Steven Sepulveda in a crunch time spot next. Fans have gotten their money's worth today in a 1-1 game crunch time situation in the top of the 8th. What a moment to be a true freshman thrown into your collegiate debut, and that's what is the case for Steven Sepulveda, the native of El Paso, Texas. The righty enters the fray against the most dangerous Nebraska hitter at the moment, Dylan Carey. And Sepulveda, who they call the water moccasin, Pat, they say he is mean and nasty on the mound, even for being a true freshman. We'll see that tested out right away.
Yeah, he likes to pitch angry is what they tell us, and we'll see him sit 91 to 93 with the fastball, slider and a changeup. But the counter by Mitch Thompson with his freshman out of the pen. Trying to match up Will Bolt. He certainly made the right decision with Tucker Timmerman. See, it works out just as well for the Bears here in the top of the 8th inning.
I certainly did not want the lefty-righty matchup for Dylan Carey, who comes to the plate. The shortstop has hit a couple of balls hard. One was a ground out to the left side. The other was a double to give Nebraska its only run of the day. Carey, who had 9 multi-RBI games last year, digs in. Big spot, 1-1 in the season opener from the Shriners Children's College Showdown. And the first pitch, Carey ready to go to work, fouls it back.
Yeah, good pitch to hit for Carey, out up over the plate with the fastball, and 90 mile an hour fouled straight back. Yeah, Thompson and the Bears like this matchup much better than left-handed Calder. Carey wears lefties out.
The 0-1 inside, little chin music as he had to lean out of the way there. Sepulveda, a guy who wasn't all that sharp to begin fall ball, but his last 2 outings in the fall scrimmages, the coaches were wowed by the stuff. He gets rewarded now with an 8th inning appearance. The 1-1 to Carey. Pulls that one way outside. That allows Silva to trot down to third on the wild pitch. And he's 90 feet away from giving Nebraska the lead.
Yeah, just overthrew the fastball. That's one of the things you take into account with a freshman is how will he handle the moment and not try to overthrow. The pitch definitely pulled down and away, and now the winning run 90 feet away for the Huskers. Kaylee's made some good stops today behind the dish, but that one way out of reach.
And you'd have needed to have been about 8 feet to get that one. 2-1 the count. Silva at third in a 1-1 game.
Tell yourself to breathe.
This is high and outside, sitting about 90-91 with the fastball. And honestly, not the worst thing in the world if you were to put Carey on. That's, I'm sure, the other thing that Mitch Thompson was talking to him about.
Well, you definitely look at which is the player in the lineup you don't want to allow to beat you, and certainly has to be Dylan Carey coming into today. But down in the count 3-1, and Sepulveda comes right after him with the fastball.
Nice pitch. Pours it in for a strike, and it's 3-2. The true freshman Steven Sepulveda trying to give new life to a Baylor pitching staff that really struggled last year against a dangerous Dylan Carey. Drilled to left, but off the end of the bat. Jordan coming in, still coming in. He can't get there. It drops, and Nebraska has the lead. A second double in as many at-bats for Dylan Carey to re-give Nebraska the 1-run advantage.
Yeah, this one a pop-up that wasn't very deep. A little bit misread by Wesley Jordan. The Bears left fielder took a couple of steps back, then had to make a correction. Just couldn't quite catch up to it. Good job of knocking it down, not letting it get by him, but Tommy corralled it. Dylan Carey stands at second base, second double of the day, and another RBI for the Huskers.
10th career multi-RBI game for Dylan Carey. A 2-1 lead for Nebraska. I mean, what a tough hit, though, to give up for Sepulveda. I think just, the big swing maybe threw off Jordan a little bit, and it's something we talk about every year at this tournament, Pat, how big the outfield is. It's a big league acreage you got to cover.
Well, no doubt, and these players aren't used to trying to, catch a fly ball in a covered stadium. Sometimes those balls can go up and get lost just for a moment. It certainly looked like Jordan had trouble tracking that ball off the bat. You said it, Ben, it was hit off the end of his bat, so sometimes if you don't hear that in the outfield, it's hard to think. You might think to yourself, that ball was hit better than it was, and just couldn't come in on time to make the catch.
Fastball just misses on 1-1. And as much of a tough luck break that is if you're Sepulveda, and Now you have to dig in, try to prevent Nebraska from getting the insurance run as Karen digs in, desperate to break his 0 for 3 with 2K start to his season. Works the count to 3-1.
Yeah, these players don't get a lot of practice time in covered stadiums. They're just happy to get outside to get ready for the season. It's always an extra bit of a challenge for these defenses to pick up fly balls.
Taking again, and it's a walk. Karen reaches base. Each team got a workout here yesterday, but that's, to your point, Pat, basically it. And it's really hard to simulate that until you see it into a game. And also, it's not like we had a whole lot of balls into the outfield early in this game. Not a whole lot of low leverage situations to get comfortable as you see the, the panels, the way the lights come in. It's a pretty sunny day outside as we play just past 1 p.m. in Arlington. So tough break too for Jordan, who's kind of had a couple plays out there, but your first real high leverage play comes on one of those hard swing off the end of the bat type balls.
Well, now a challenge for Sepulveda to kind of slow the game down, take a breath, get back into the command of what he's shown in the fall and early spring. Right now struggling with that command.
And missing outside to Tyler Stone. Tried to go to the changeup there. And this is where that balance for Nebraska, head coach Will Bolt really felt like it would pay off once you get into the late innings and you get a lefty-righty matchup. Fastball in there for a called strike.
Well, again, we talked about the power that, had to be replaced in this Husker lineup. Certainly not as much comparatively to last season's team, but the middle of this lineup, still powerful.
This one roped, just fouled on the first base line. Mike Sirianni down there. First-year assistant. Having to be looking alive anytime you have the power hitting lefty up there in Tyler Stone. Way outside on 1 and 2. You can hear the Nebraska dugout making a whole lot of noise. With Karen at first, Carey, who had the second straight RBI double at second. And Sepulveda on the mound, still looking for the first out recorded of his collegiate career. Drilled to the right side, falling fast, and Apodaca made the catch. What a play in his Baylor debut on a ball hit 109 miles an hour off the bat, but Apodaca prevents the big inning. Nebraska does get one on the Carey double, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. Some great offense, some even better defense to end the inning.
Oh man, how about that play? That is throwing some leather in right field. That keeps a run off the board. Nebraska still with the lead, 2-1 over Baylor as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Kubota. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. And Shriners Children's. 6 remarkable kids have each teamed up with a participating university for the Shriners Children's College Showdown Team Fundraising Challenge. All weekend long, teams will compete to see which fan base can raise the most money in support of Shriners Children's. Go online to shrinersshowdown.com to donate in honor of your favorite team today. Such a special venue to kick off the 2024 college baseball season, and a very tasty game we've had so far. 2-1 Nebraska to the bottom of the 8th, and a new pitcher, Kyle Perry, 3 for 3 on save opportunities last year, and the 6th-year veteran out of the bullpen for Will Bolt comes in to face 9-1-2 for Baylor as he pumps in a first pitch strike.
Yeah, the dependable Kyle Perry, who is he's had some tough luck in his Husker career. 2 Tommy John surgeries, has recovered from that. In his 6th year, Will Bolt goes to his veteran lefty. Knows how to get out. Former Friday starter for the Huskers, but very versatile. Obviously coming late innings here, back into the bullpen, but could see him become a midweek starter again at some point. But Perry, the crafty left-hander, on to keep this lead at 2-1 for Nebraska.
Just misses on back-to-back. Fastball's running just down and in. 2-2 to Harrison Cayley, who struck out looking and popped out to second. Wave and a miss. There's the changeup for Kyle Perry. 6 years with a couple of injuries along the way, as you talk about, Pat. You don't get to that point without knowing when to come up with the goods, and here he does so with the change.
Well, just knows how to pitch, knows how to use his repertoire, and that fastball sits upper 80s, traditional curveball. That changeup, some good down and away bite against those right-handed hitters.
Now he gets the benefit of facing Apodaca, lefty-lefty matchup. And it's both Apodaca and Ty Johnson lefties due up. So that was a huge first out against the bottom of the order. Kyle Perry missing outside here. 44th career appearance, 18 of those starts, and his first 3 career saves all came last year out of the pen. Little check swing, Apodaca offered. 1-2. Who made that brilliant play in right field to prevent at least 1 more, if not 2, Nebraska runs from scoring. Chops one to the right side. Apodaca runs pretty well, but an easy throw to make for Brumbaugh, who got over to make the play. So far, so good for the Nebraska reliever in Kyle Perry. And this is just upstairs to Ty Johnson. Nebraska last year, in large part due to its starting pitching, fewest walks in the Big Ten, 3rd best ERA. With this pitch pumped in for a strike, but they're really relying on that deep bullpen, Pat. We've seen it so far. I mean, Timmerman and Perry have been awesome coming out of the pen.
Yeah, good arms. I think more depth for Will Bolt and Rob Childress to choose from this year. You had really the top-heavy pitching staff last year for Nebraska. The 2 great starters that are now gone, but replacing those guys is going to be key. Finding out who those starters are going to be, but a lot more depth. I think more quality arms for the Huskers to work with this season. And again, early in the season, you got to establish those roles, right? Where a guy's going to fit, who you're going to close with. I think some question marks still left for Bolt and his staff to figure out.
3-1. Johnson, a big hack, and fouls it off his shin. Yeah, Childress promoted. He was the director of player development each of the last 2 years. Promoted over the summer. Guy with so much pedigree. 2-time Big 12 Coach of the Year as the head man at Texas A&M for 16 years. Guy you love to have on your staff. Little tapper. Tough play for the charging Brumbaugh. Can't get there in time as Johnson beats it out. Baylor has life with a 2-out infield single in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, now decision for Bolt and Childress. Do you leave Perry out there to face big hitter Hunter Simmons? had the double back in the 6th to tie the game. And do the Huskers choose to play matchup ball here? Well, they let Perry face Simmons.
Another look at how Johnson was able to beat it out.
Yeah, good speed at first base for the Bears and Ty Johnson. He can motor.
Goes into it again, and you're okay giving up, base hit, and the outfielder's playing very deep right now, protecting the extra base hit. That's just what you don't want to give up, though, as well as a runner on the move. So they keep the lefty in, called strike on a changeup, and it's 0-1. Little deja vu, though. This was the exact situation
Exactly.
Baylor had to deal with last half inning. And so far, each team has gone tit for tat on the offensive end.
Dylan Carey coming through a couple of times for the Huskers. That ball was thrown away. Still had to reach up to corral that high throw from Perry.
That was Carey who had the RBI double top of the 6th right after Baylor took out its starter. And then Simmons did the same thing as Nebraska took out its starter, Brett Sears, in the 6th. So could we be seeing a similar thing repeat? Carey with another RBI double in the last half inning. Fist foul by Simmons, and it's 0-2. A guy who just in general, though, the team is so happy to have healthy. He missed 11 games really in the meat of the Big 12 season last year with injury, and yet still led the team with 17 RBI in conference play.
Yeah, he can swing the bat. As you see the build there, he's got a lot of pop. Pretty good runner for his size. But he can drill a baseball.
Hits this one hard to left field. Swanson back, running out of room, has just enough space to make the catch right in front of the wall. Simmons gave it a ride, but not quite enough. As we go to the 9th, Nebraska still clinging to a 2-1 lead. Final inning coming up.
You're so much more than just a landowner. You're a gardener, a groundskeeper, and a landscaper. That's why you need versatile, durable Kubota equipment.
Chris Stapleton's All-American Roadshow. Saturday, June 15th, Globe Life Field, with special guests Tedeschi Trucks Band and Marcus King. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Chris Stapleton's All-American Roadshow. New album, Higher, available now.
We go to the 9th inning, 2-1 Nebraska lead. Sometimes it's not about how pretty your run manufacturing is, Pat. It's about just getting it done, and that's exactly how the 8th inning went for the Huskers.
No, that's right. It all started with that leadoff hit batter. Riley Silva earns first base. Calder with a fastball that got away. Then a great sac bunt by Caden Brimbaugh. That moved Silva to second. A wild pitch moved him over to third. After the Bears countered with Sepulveda. It looked like the Bears were out of the inning. Sepulveda gets the pop-up. Wesley Jordan not able to come up with it in left field, and Dylan Carey with his 2nd RBI double of the day. That put the Huskers on top.
Look at Mitch Thompson, head coach, and it is so prescient now what he told us the other day, Pat, how he felt like there were 9 games last year, 9, where a single play, maybe 2, swung it one way or another. All those were lost games for Baylor, won just 20 games a season ago. Tough not to look at what's happening today as maybe yet another one of those type games. This team's been right in it, just haven't been able to get over the hump.
That's it. I mean, the good news for the Bears is, well, with Mitch Thompson at the helm, got a great staff. They've recruited well. They filled a lot of gaps this past season, and they are going to be competitive. You know, I know where they're picked in the Big 12, near the bottom, but this team has got some talent. Now it's just a matter of putting it all together. As you mentioned, Ben, figuring out how to win those close games late. Have your pitching staff have some shutdown innings, but your offense has got to produce.
The margin's so tight in this game, especially a tournament like this with all really, really good teams. And a 2-1 game right now. Garrett Anglum is the one at the plate. He was a defensive replacement for Gabe Swanson last inning. So it was actually Anglem who made that last catch in left, and now he gets the at-bat. Hits one hard to left field. A rocket off the bat of Anglem. It is off the top of the wall and gone. A home run for Anglem in his first at-bat of the season, and Nebraska gets a much-needed insurance run.
Yeah, how about that swing, man? That is put the barrel to a baseball. That ball got out of here quick. It was a line drive to left field. Looked at first like Wesley Jordan could have had a play on it, just above his glove. And the ball goes just above the yellow line and left. And second base umpire Doug Williams signaled home run. How about that to start the season?
You'll take it, right? Not bad. 105 miles an hour off the bat. An absolute rocket. That just had enough to clear that 372 marker out in left center. That's a tough welcoming to college baseball if you're Steven Sepulveda, true freshman. And now 3-1 Nebraska. Sepulveda, he finished the end of that inning. He was the one who had the tough break, the little pop-up that dropped. Even though it goes down in the book as a double, really shouldn't have been a base hit.
Yeah, good for Garrett Engelman. You know, had that injury last year with his hamstring, and it started off this season as the Huskers' best hitter in the lineup. And that injury really did him in the 23 season. Comes back today, does not get the start. Comes in and delivers a huge home run here in the ninth to extend that Husker lead.
Now Case Sanderson at the plate takes a fastball outside, and it's 2-1. Yeah, Anglem has the power. I mean, he hit 3 homers in a game against Iowa last year, so it's there. It's just a matter of health and opportunity. His 10th career long ball makes it a 3-1 game, and now a 3-1 count for Case Sanderson. Sepulveda really going predominantly fastball changeup mix here. Gets a pop foul off the bat of Sanderson. Couple of true freshmen going at it. One from El Paso and Sepulveda, the other from Nevada, Missouri, and Case Sanderson. The 3-2. Just outside. Fastball misses by a couple inches, and a chance for Nebraska to keep the line moving as Evans comes up in the bottom of the order. Well, a team that was really solid, Pat, in Big Ten play, just didn't win enough games in the non-con. Nebraska 2-8 against the top 50. They were 6-6 in midweek games, and head coach Will Bolt felt like that was the difference. They had all the tools to be in a regional, just didn't do enough in those swing games in the midweeks.
Yeah, made a couple of adjustments on his staff, and man, like Will said, hey, I've surrounded myself with an all-star group of coaches, guys that have been around the game a long time, know what they're doing, obviously know how to recruit. Lance Harville and Rob Childress, Mike Sirianni, those are some big-time college coach names.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Ball outside as Evans, actually they do call that a strike, as Evans is showing bunt on 0-1. A shout out too to all the guys now this year promoted. Finally we did it, Pat. We got the 3rd assistant paid in college baseball, so want to make sure we mention that at some point this weekend. Mike Sirianni coming over, who was previously at Wichita State. This is bunted foul, and so many guys around the country. We'll see a lot of teams this week who had volunteer assistants finally get that legit promotion, now being paid on the staff. And it was certainly long overdue, but we're glad it finally happened.
Yeah, that's a big deal for college baseball. You think about a roster of 35 that can travel, but you oftentimes 40 to 50 players in your program, and just too many players with the number of coaches.
Hot shot to the left side, a beautiful pick by Pendergrass as Toplansky starts the double play. Greer with a turn, and Evans goes 5-4-3 on the double play. A much needed twin killing for Sepulveda.
Yeah, no doubt this inning had not started well for Sepulveda, and That time gets the hard ground ball, and Toplansky, the veteran at third base, nice pick there, and good turn at second by Mason Greer. Easy 5-4-3 double play for the Bears.
Another look at how Nebraska's season went last year. Won a couple games in the Big Ten tournament before ultimately losing twice to the top seed Maryland. And a swing and a miss here to Silva. Now looking for a better start than last year. They went out to the West Coast, lost 3 of 4 with a tie at San Diego last year. Were really embarrassed by the Toreros. A tough start for Will Bolt's club.
Oh, that caught the ump up. Yep.
A.J. Wendell, you can hear that from up here.
Right in the forearm.
92-mile-an-hour fastball to boot, as it's 0-2.
No protection on the forearms. Man, that's a tough one.
He digs back in. They've been a very well called game today. Umpires have been really consistent, especially Wendell setting the tone. Is 0-2. That one gets past the catcher Cayley all the way to the backstop. Long throw can't be dug out by Pendergrass. And Silva didn't even realize at first that that ball got away. It was so high and outside, but the speedster works his way down to first, and Pendergrass can't hold the low throw.
Yeah, a lot of different ways to get to first base in baseball, but this is a non-traditional way. Silva with the strikeout swinging off the glove of Cayley. Not able to corral that fastball. That ball took off up and away. Had a chance to throw him out. Couldn't quite get the pick at first base by Pendergrass.
And we still wait on the official scoring, but yeah, good throw gets him. Inning will stay alive, though, as we go back to the top of the order and Caden Brumbaugh.
And James Leverton, the pitching coach for Baylor, out of the dugout.
These are one of those moments, though, where if you're Steven Sepulveda, you're learning so much, right, as you go on. And I know it's not been the result he wants, but this is why coaches like Mitch Thompson schedule so tough early in the season. They want to get their guys that experience.
That's right. I think Baylor was having an issue with their pitch comm, trying to signal pitches into that wristwatch that the pitchers wear, and looked like Leverton changed the battery. Good to have your pitching coach and your pitcher and catcher on the same page.
It's always a plus. Saw the bullpen a second ago. Will Glatch, another one of those JUCO transfers from McLennan, where Mitch Thompson used to coach at. He's getting loose in the pen. And they did just rule that wild pitch, so no error, as the runner Silva is on the move, and he swipes a bag. He had 44 at the JUCO level last year, has his first at the D1 level. Not a surprise that it happens in game number 1.
Well, a huge jump, too, off of Sepulveda. Didn't really give his catcher Cayley a chance that time. It's a good pitch to run on as well. Got the breaking ball, and easy stolen base for Silva.
Poke to the right side and through. Brumbaugh goes oppo. Silva can fly. He's in. 4-1 Nebraska.
A nice job by Brumbaugh. Second at bat in the game. He's gone down to get a good breaking ball down and away from him. And this time picks up the RBI single. Almost the same exact swing he had back in the 6th inning. Breaking ball down and away, and just went with the pitch. Just a great job of hitting by Caden Brumbaugh.
Yeah, welcome back, Caden Brumbaugh. How good does that feel? Misses all of last year coming into Nebraska with injury. Very, very long wait. And he almost gets picked off on a pretty good throw over to first, but has a couple of base hits, a run scored, an RBI.
Transfer from Oklahoma State, making his presence known in this 24 season. That would be a huge answer for Will Bolt at the top of this Husker lineup. Brumbaugh can continue to come through like that.
Looking at Steven Sepulveda, You know, you had days like that as a pitcher, Pat. Just like every single break goes against you. You get the pop-up double, you get strike 3, but a wild pitch. I mean, just everything that can go wrong has.
Yeah, it really has been one of those weird outings where he's pitched fairly well. It's not the results to show, and unfortunately for Sepulveda, you know, your first outing of the year, you always want to come out and have a good one to start your season. Well, you'll have to think about the quality of pitches he made without getting the outcomes that he could have had.
Another pickoff attempt on 1-0. It'll be interesting to see now that Nebraska has a little more margin too. Do they stick with Kyle Perry, try to get the 6-out save here with 4, 5, and 6 due up bottom of the 9th. Runner on the move, pitch outside. The throw is in time. Nice throw by Cayley. After a tough inning for Baylor, at least a bright spot on the defensive end as Brumbaugh is nabbed. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for Baylor, 4-1 game in the season opener from Arlington. Look at the Baylor fans. They've got the rally caps out, hoping for a 9th inning surge, down 4-1 against Nebraska. And in a similar fashion to last year for head coach Mitch Thompson's club, Pat, been one of those close but no cigar games today. Couple of 50-50 plays that if they go the other way, Baylor might easily be well out in front after winning just 20 games a season ago. Coach Thompson told us it was by far the toughest year of his career in general.
Yeah, a lot of tough luck losses last season for Mitch Thompson, but I think he'll look back and as he's told us and a lot of the fans, hey, look, when I got here, we needed to retool the roster, and sometimes that takes a year or two to be able to accomplish that. So there's no doubt Mitch and his staff will get it done. Known as one of the better recruiters in the country, and he is super excited to be back in gold and green. Of course, 18 seasons as an assistant coach at Baylor under Steve Smith. And then the 9 seasons at McLennan, where he won a national championship in the junior college ranks. Now back at Baylor.
This team will have to do something special as it's Toplansky, Jordan, and Greer, heart of the order, but they face a guy who could potentially be the closer in 2024. That's a role still up for grabs, and Casey Dice gets the first crack, but gives up a base hit to left center. Toplansky goes the other way, his first hit of the season. Our first look at Casey Dice, the Pasco Hernandez JUCO transfer out of Florida, originally signed with Virginia, never actually played there with the Cavaliers, and kind of a funky slot right-hander who provides a very unique look, and he gets the opportunity to save.
Does a 6'4", 230-pounder. Has the size for the closer. Does he have the mentality? Can he put it together? Well, he'll pitch off that slider. It is a nasty pitch. Fastball will be upper 80s, low 90s, but the slider is his out pitch, and it's a good one.
Called strike into Jordan. Yeah, the slider is that pitch that they just rave about when you talk to anybody with the staff. Fastball up and in. The last time Nebraska made the College World Series, they had a closer by the name of Brett Jensen. And in the fall, Coach Bolt was saying, this Casey Dice guy kind of reminds me a little bit of Jensen. This ball's popped up in on the infield, drifting right on the edge of foul territory, but caught just in fair territory by Overbeek for out number 1. So if you're a Nebraska baseball fan, you know comps to Brett Jensen. Those don't come just thrown out of nowhere. And so that's the type of guy the Huskers are getting in Dice.
Yeah, Jensen was outstanding. And of course, when you look at Casey Dice, that's what the Husker staff feels like they've got. They've got a guy who kind of bows his chest. He's not overpowering, but he has that, what they call, could be the best pitch on the staff with that slider. And he's going to come after a hitter's attack. He's got good command with both of those pitches.
He gets a called strike to Mason Greer. If there is going to be a rally, Mason Greer is the guy to do it. Reaching all 3 times, once on an error, the last 2 on base hits. A big wave and a miss over the top of a changeup, and it's 0-2.
That pitch just disappeared right out of the zone, and looked like a pretty good pitch for Greer to extend on. Just the bottom fell out of it.
Swing and a miss. Dice gets Greer on 3 pitches with back-to-back changeups, and Baylor's down to its final out.
Oh, did we mention the changeup?
Yeah, that too, right? Just when you think, oh, just focus fastball slider.
Yeah, how do we miss that pitch? That's a plus changeup.
That's so good. Yep.
Yeah, you get so enthralled with that that number 1 pitch he's got, that slider that comes from out of nowhere, and he spots up that fastball really well. And with the left-handers, he'll just drop that changeup in there for a strikeout.
Now Will Pendergrass takes a called strike. Final chance for Baylor to keep this thing alive. High fly ball to left as he gets under it. Swanson's replacement in left. Ingram comes in, makes the catch, and that does it. A slow start at the plate for both teams, but Nebraska's bats come to life with 4 runs in the final 4 innings, and the Huskers are off the mark. Their first ever win at Globe Life Field in 4 times. They beat Baylor 4-1.
Well, how about that, Ben? You had a couple of question marks coming in, right? Can Dylan Carey fill the big holes that were left by Max Anderson, Bryce Matthews? Mission accomplished. Friday starter, where are you going to come up with that guy? Well, Brett Sears. Mission accomplished. I think Will Bolt's got to feel really good about this opening day win for the Huskers.
And an old school Big 8 rivalry. These teams very familiar from back in the day. 72nd all-time meeting. That has been a series Baylor has had the better hand of for the most part. Although Nebraska had gotten the better of Baylor in the traditional postseason matchups, actually 3-0 against Baylor in Big 12 title games all time. And in this old school conference matchup renewed, it is Nebraska who emerged victorious with a 4-1 win. Certainly another tough luck loss though for Baylor. We saw a lot of bright signs today, Pat, including Mason Marriott, who had a career high 10 Ks. As he was absolutely awesome today. Better days ahead for Baylor, but for now, it's Nebraska who get the win in the first game of 2024. We're ready to go down to the field here at Globe Life Field for our post-game interview with the Shriners Children's College Showdown. We go down to Lianza Pironi.
Cornhuskers get the first win on opening day, first win in Globe Life since the Rangers brought home the World Series. How are we feeling right now? What went right for the guys?
I mean, we got the win, that's all that matters. You know, the scoreboard didn't show a great game for us, but at the end of the day, we got the win, and that's all that matters.